I didn't do it. Oof. As long as it's YouTube friendly, because let's be honest, everybody has a dirty mind, and we ain't going that far with this. That was high school DxT. Oh. Well then, moving on. I got one that if I say out loud, I'm pretty sure I'll lose half my subscribe base. Nah, we'll save it. We'll send it. We'll send it. We'll save. Yeah, send it. We'll save it for later on in the stream. Like, let's get people used to our personalities before we start pissing people off. Yes. Midnight was done dirty. I don't give a crap what anyone says. Who cares about them? I slept for midnight. uh, oh, definitely. A lot of people seem to forget that Shigaraki flat out destroys like what was it, Komorocho or Yokohama? I can't remember the name of the. I can't remember the actual city name that they begun the fight with him, but he leveled everything within like a what 20-mile radius. Hmm. Yep. Spoilers for the manga. Yeah. Hey, back how goes it? Yeah, because he honestly could. And when you stop and think about it, his quirk awakening, where he doesn't actually have to touch a person to disintegrate them, as long as they're touching something he's touching. Like, oh, I don't know, he touches a 10-foot pole, throws it at somebody, they touch it. Uh-oh, it touches their hand now. Now they're disintegrating. Oh yeah, that thing. Nothing makes sense, and we all love it. I mean, you're talking about a guy that has the power of like 8 people inside him. Pause. You know that. Yeah. Uh, mm. Good luck waiting another 30 years before we actually get halfway into the true story. Oh, Lord. But yeah. Let's just abridge it. Reborn as a slime. Yep. I would have. He can't hear you. All right, take your time. Well, while you're fixing everything, I should. Yeah. Oh, they didn't. What the hell? I made a gag noise, and he basically is in love with One Piece.
Okay, can anyone hear me now? I know you can, Dragon. It's just Beck. Say in chat if you can hear me. Okay, but yeah, in all honesty, slime anime is the best isekai because it combines enough elements of fantasy while also having enough humor and enough badassery to really. Well, Beck, the thing is, this first episode is going to be just a two-person thing, but we will have guests on for later episodes if this does well.
Yep. It was an idea I had that I ran by AJ or Bloodstone or whatever you want to call him, and it was just an idea to see like
Brain Free.
How it one-on-one
I might chat with your alternate account. Motherfucker, you don't get to say the One Piece ain't real.
Well, okay, you know what? Perfect transition. Thank you for that. I have a question that almost no One Piece fan can ever answer me. Okay? The One Piece is real. Okay? It has been established that it is real.
It is a literal treasure.
Exactly. Buggy, during one of the early seasons, said he found it and lost it down a waterfall. What the hell is this show then?
No, but he didn't lose anything down a waterfall.
Well, didn't he have it?
Are you talking about the One Piece film Z? Or no, film Gold? What one are you thinking?
I don't know if it's a film or if it was an anime episode, because I can't keep track of anything when it comes to One Piece.
Oh, no, I know which one you're on about. You're on One Piece Film Stampede. He didn't get the One Piece itself. He got something that was essentially equivalent to, because it was a log pose that would lead you straight to Laugh Tale, which is where the One Piece is hidden. At least, it's the journey no one can make, but they do know that it is hidden there somewhere.
Right, because I saw that. I was, by the time I got into One Piece, I want to say the whole Luffy versus the Sharkmen trying to save Nami's island. That's when I jumped into One Piece.
Yeah, Arlong Park is where a lot of people joined in. Me personally, I watch an anime for like maybe 50 episodes, if it's like a longer one. And then if it's not attached me to any of the characters by that point, I'm out. Like, it's why I can't watch AOT. It's why I can't enjoy Naruto fully, because I don't have any attachment to those characters.
I could see that.
But with One Piece, it was a thing of, I got attached to it from like the first 4 episodes, because Zoro alone just was an amazing and compelling character. Luffy's just goofy nature is amazing.
He doesn't get lost. As long as he doesn't get lost.
Honestly, if Zoro gets lost, he's just even more funny at that point.
You know what? I love the memes about Zoro. I love how one person's like, Zoro needs to be captain. He will find the One Piece within an episode. Because think about it, he has no idea where the hell he's going. Watch him just randomly show up like, oh, I found the One Piece.
There is actually a theory that he does actually have like an ability to lead them to the One Piece, and that his getting lost antics are just him being like an eternal log post himself. It's not a likely theory, but it is funny to think about. Honestly, Hagen read all of One Piece in 2 months. Fucking props to you, man. I think I watched all of One Piece up until just about the start of Wano, in the space of like a month and a half. But I gotta admit, I was like watching the compiled versions, where there was basically no recaps at the beginning.
Right. You know, since we're already on the topic, I might as well go ahead and tell you that thing that would make me lose a bunch of subscribers. I am not a One Piece fan.
It's fair enough.
Yeah.
You're wrong, but it's fair enough.
Well, the reason why, before everybody starts canceling me on Twitter and Facebook and apps that I don't use, The reason why is because I generally have beef when it comes to One Piece. You know?
Oh, yeah?
What honestly irritated me, okay, now keep in mind, we're going back 20 years ago, before streaming services and all this stuff was an actual thing, okay? When One Piece was on, it would always be either, it depends on which era of Toonami we're talking about. You had the daily Toonami, which was every day around 6 p.m. until 8 p.m. It would be Dragon Ball Z, Yu Yu Hakusho, One Piece, and they would alternate between Rurouni Kenshin and Cyborg 009. Right? Those were the animes.
Yeah.
And what honestly would always piss me off was it was always 2 episodes, main story, 2 episodes, flashback of the 2 episodes we just saw, and then 3 episodes of filler that has nothing to do with the main timeline. Like, one filler, I remember this by heart. Why is Luffy a samurai trying to run a restaurant?
Okay, yeah, I know what you're talking about. What I would recommend is after we do the stream, I'm going to send you a link to a website that I use to watch anime. It's free, but it also has all the episodes compiled and has labeled ones that are not part of the canon story. It occasionally slips up, but not often.
Right. You know, because that was honestly my beef when it came to like early One Piece. Then we go on into the later years, you know, the Luffy versus Crocodile, which was one of the greatest fights of all time, I will admit. It was dang good. But what honestly made me drop off of One Piece was the Frankie arc. Like, no beef with Frankie. I hated the whole Luffy versus Usopp over the merry-go-round. Like,
I'm gonna be perfectly honest with you. Usopp is my least favorite member of all of One Piece. He is the worst character in my opinion, because his loyalty is only as far as he can basically go. If he sees an obstacle that's going to be a slight difficulty, he typically isn't very useful. And like, I get that he's part of the cowardly trio with Nami, Chopper, and Usopp. Usopp's not had one of those sort of loyalty moments since fucking Alabasta, which Alabasta was like 2000 and something.
2006, I think.
Yeah, around that area. And since then, all he's done is be a consistent annoyance and a coward.
Let's be honest.
Whereas Nami stood up to fucking Kaido. She told him to go fuck himself. She told the king of the beasts to do that.
Yep.
And then you've got Chopper, who's willing to stand up to Queen, one of his right-hand men. Sure, he didn't beat him to a pulp, but he did his absolute best. Meanwhile, Usopp's greatest feat in all of Wano was slightly doing damage to Ulti before she went and tried to intimidate Nami. And even in that moment where Nami was being held and told, you better say that Luffy won't be the king of the pirates or I will kill you, she had the goal to basically say, no, Luffy's going to be king of the pirates. I don't care if you kill me. Whereas Usopp's over here like, just lie. Yeah. He has zero loyalty at all.
Luffy, he will be king. Just should have done something like that.
And Usopp, ever since fucking Water 7 / Enies Lobby, I lost major respect for Usopp.
I didn't have any respect for the man to begin with. The dude is an ultimate simp. The only reason why he wants to keep the shit was because it was gifted to him by the woman he wants to mambo with, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, and okay. In all honesty, I can understand where he's coming from, and don't get me wrong, Going Mary's death was a fucking travesty.
I fell asleep.
You motherfucker. Nah, in all honesty, like, that, how Oda can make you cry at a ship's death is fucking hard. I don't know how he does it.
I genuinely didn't cry. I was just like, can we speed this up? I want to see somebody get punched. That deserves to be punched. Looking at you, Usopp.
Yeah,
I genuinely didn't care about the merry-go-round's death just because it's a freaking ship. Just take the head off and put it on the new ship. Problem solved.
Called you out. Oh yeah, by the way, anyone in chat that wants to ask questions, you can feel free to leave a question in the chat and we will get to it after we're done ranting about the previous topic.
Yep. Yeah, I've been keeping an eye on the chat on my phone. And yes, I know what sentimental value is, but I mean, come on, it's a ship. And it needs to be replaced. Do you want the journey to continue or do you want it to end? Think about it. If they kept the ship the way Usopp wanted, how long until the ship sank at sea? And
there's like 3 devil fruit users on your ship. If you go with that kind of shoddy workmanship, 3 people are dead for the price of your fucking pride. That is not a worthwhile trade. Like, don't get me wrong, I love the Going Merry, and I wish it hadn't died like that, but at the same time, there's a point where you have to let it go for the sake of everything.
Exactly. What I honestly thought they could have done was, okay, they're at a ship.
They're at an island full of shipwrights.
Exactly. Okay, what they could have easily had done was they could have taken the ship, taken it out of sea, and just put it somewhere in storage. And then think about it. You got the future king of the pirates here. Don't you want to display the ship he first used to begin his journey? They could have easily had turned it into a museum.
There was also a lot of Marines on that island, to be fair, so you really couldn't do that without pissing someone off.
Well, true, but I mean, let's be honest. Most of the Marines in the show are kind of... They deserve death, let's be honest. They're trash.
Honestly, lately, especially, I've gotten major respect for almost every one of the admirals. There is nothing in my mind that's going to change my opinion on a fucking Akainu, but I feel bad for Kizaru lately.
What about the guy that killed Ace?
That is Akainu.
Oh, yeah, that guy.
Aokiji's
That's another reason why I dropped off. That's another reason why I dropped off. Ace's death was pointless.
Oh, don't get me wrong. Ace died for fucking nothing, man.
He did. It was like right there. You're right there. You're just
He fell for your dad joke.
Exactly. And it's like all that work for absolutely nothing. You know what?
And
I don't care what anybody says.
Is Bon Clay's sacrifice was made in vain for that.
It was. I don't care what anybody says, and I am probably going to get a lot of hate for what I'm about to say. When Ace died, you deserve it. You played yourself.
Yeah. In all honesty, like, Ace's death is one of, like, the top 10 most avoidable deaths, in my opinion, and one of the worst ones ever.
It honestly was.
In my opinion, I think, like, if you're going to have a death, it needs to be worth something, and it needs to stay that way.
His death basically made Luffy have a mental breakdown, which made Luffy unlock Hakai, or Haki, or whatever the heck you want to call it.
Haki.
So, Haki, during the 2-year time skip, which, let's be honest, everybody finally got a power-up that they deserved.
Except Usopp, go figure.
Yeah,
He got some new fancy bullets and some fucking decoration packs. Congratulations.
Yeah, and what honestly surprises me, and I don't think too many people know this because of how long One Piece has been on air, between the episode when we first meet Luffy and Ace's death, would you believe only 6 months have actually happened?
I don't think it was 6 months. I think it was only a few weeks.
No. I actually looked it up with an interview with Oda. He actually did say that it's only been 6 months. That the entire everything that we've seen up until the time skip, it's only been 6 months.
Damn, Brainfree's got no chill with you. minor mistake. Brainfree. Oh, you fucked
Brainfree's
up.
calling me out, and I appreciate you for it. I love your brother. So moving on. So, yeah. Haki and Hakai and Emperor's New Groove. Let's be honest, that's all it is.
But no, I completely understand why people would be upset at Ace's death, because it's probably the worst death in all of anime. Like, not because it's, like, the most painful. It definitely was painful, because he was a really cool character. But it was more so the fact that it was not necessary in any capacity and just instilled a lot of trauma.
It honestly,
and started a lot of memes about donuts.
What I honestly have beef with when it comes to all anime, I hate when anime hypes up a particular character for them to do absolutely nothing during the whole show.
And yet you're a Naruto fan, right?
Well, that's because we're on the journey of Naruto becoming stronger.
Come on. You can't say that shit and then be a complete and utter fucking Naruto fan. How many characters actually do something important if you're not the Naruto Sasuke show? Maybe 5.
Wait. Are we talking manga or anime?
Anime.
Because the anime actually does have a lot of moments where the characters get a hell of a lot of screen time. Looking at you, Mike Guy, the greatest beast to ever exist.
And then there's characters who got one singular moment to shine and then were cut off severely.
And then we're completely done dirty during the whole Boruto era. Yeah, I understand.
No, Rock Lee was done dirty in the Naruto era. Like, that man did some cool shit in the Chunin exams and then was fucking forgotten for, like, half the series.
True. I'm not going to argue that. That is 100% true. you know. But what I'm saying is, I was thinking more of who's the guy that gives Luffy his hat? I forgot his name.
Shanks?
Yeah. What the hell does
Okay.
he do?
Let's just establish what he has done so far. He's made a fucking admiral cower in fear and run with his tail between his legs. He's also commanded enough respect for the Gorosei, which recently in the manga have been going fucking nuts. He manages to command enough respect to be the only pirate to be able to talk to them directly, in person. We saw a Marine look at one of those guys, and his head popped off. So you gotta ask yourself, is it that he's not done anything, or that Oda's not showing us what he can do yet?
Well, regardless, the guy had the ability to use, the Emperor's command, or the Emperor's whatever. How do you pronounce that word? Haki?
Oh, Haki.
Yeah. Like, the dude's able to use Haki, but he lost an arm to a shark.
Yeah, but at the same time, that was before he started. I think that was actually stated to be before he became a Yonko.
And also, yes, Brain Freak, he did.
Yeah, Oda did say that it was like 7 times our world size, which is believable considering our world's covered up in 85% water. The One Piece world's covered up in fucking 90, I think, 90 something.
The real life world was 70% water.
I might be wrong, I don't remember.
I don't remember either, and I'm not really good with...
No, in all honesty, Shanks may not do the most on screen, but when he's on screen, he commands a presence like no other character with minimal screen time. He pulled up to Marineford Wharf for maybe 2 chapters in the manga. And in those singular 2 chapters, he managed to get Akainu to back the fuck off. He managed to get Sengoku to calm down and stop an entire war that Akainu and Sengoku were really willing to let go on for as long as they could.
Yeah.
That's you may not it's not that he always has the most badass fight scenes in the anime, but he does enough to where it makes you feel the presence of this man.
I was just always watching and I'm thinking, are you going to do something or just stand there?
Now, a character that doesn't do fuck all and doesn't command presence is fucking Monkey D. Dragon. He hasn't done shit since Logtown.
Oh, you know what? You just reminded me of a hilarious meme. So, but before you continue, what you were going to say, I saw this meme that goes, the reason why Shanks doesn't do anything in One Piece is because he's over in Fairy Tail under the name Gildarts.
God damn it. Yeah, that would actually make a lot of sense. In all honesty, the thing I like about One Piece is that bounties aren't just a thing of power. If you know what I mean, it's the fact that it's about multiple different factors, and that the reason Luffy's bounty is so small compared to the people he's beaten is the fact that what he's done in terms of power is not necessarily what's giving him his increases. It's what he's doing to the world as a whole. Because you got to remember, his first 3 opponents, not huge hitters. Arlong was weak as shit. In the grand scheme of things, Kuro was, Buggy was. But then he goes ahead and beats Crocodile. And that's when his first, huge increase happens. Because that man started to shake the systems. He shook the system of the warlords. And then he continued to do that for Gecko Moria, Doflamingo, all of them.
Which makes me ask just how small Luffy is compared to the world's average. I mean...
He's probably like a speck of dust in a giant sea of hay.
Either that or one of those, water bugs.
Yeah. But in all honesty, that's what I love about One Piece is that it's not based on power scaling. It's based on what your ability to do to the world is.
I always thought the increased bounty was the achievements that you accomplished. Every time you do a great feat would always increase it. Because
it wasn't always a great feat. Because look at Robin. Her first ever bounty was higher than the first 2 bounties Luffy ever had. The reason she was so high was just because what she knew.
True, because the one people still argue even now about Chopper needing Chopper deserves a higher bounty than 1,000, and I'm sitting here what does Chopper do all day?
No, in all honesty, Chopper. I think the reason Chopper's bounty is so low is because no one's really got a clear, concise image of the man. Because you got to remember, every time he's been beaten up someone important in the world, he's been in a different form.
Exactly.
And people probably don't recognize his presence as much until they start realizing, oh wait, this guy's forms are starting to recur every time his name is mentioned. Yeah. Are these all the same person? I think we'll eventually get a bounty that's above 1,000, and I think it's going to be a large increase for him. And I'm not talking like maybe going up to 10,000. I think his next bounty is going to be up in the 100,000s.
I could honestly see that.
But yeah, in all honesty, that's why I love One Piece for so many reasons, but that's my main one, is that it's not just a thing of power scaling like it is in Dragon Ball or Naruto. It's a thing of who's
it's
most...
I feel like One Piece's power scaling is more based in reality with slight suspension of disbelief, because let's be honest, nobody's able to actually stretch their body like a rubber man or burst into flames at will. But it's more like, what can you do with those powers? You know?
Yeah.
You could take an absolutely useless power and become OP as hell with it.
Chopper does keep Luffy alive, and I think doctors are hugely underestimated in the One Piece world. Because, like, really what's that fairy girl's name from Dressrosa? She was able to bring, like, characters back from near-death experiences.
Yeah, and I think I know what you're talking about, but
I can't remember why. But didn't Doflamingo keep her captured?
I think so.
Yeah, he was after her Devil Fruit because she was like super powerful.
Yeah.
Speaking of Devil Fruits,
I feel like doctors in general in animes, they're always underestimated. You know?
Yeah, and I mean, look at manga. Dr. Vegapunk doesn't have a bounty because the government's kept him on a leash. But now he's about to basically expose God knows what to the world in 3 weeks because of a fucking break. I respect the break, but I also am going to be suffering for the next 3 weeks wondering what Vegapunk's got to say.
Ain't that the truth, you know? But like, when it comes to doctors in actual anime, they're very far and few in between. And the few that are actually doctors, they're able to hold their own for a good while. Like, I know you're not a Naruto fan, but you got to give Tsunade some props for like keeping how many people alive during the Fourth Great Ninja War?
Yeah, in all honesty, I will say that. Like, anyone that's a Hokage is pretty damn cool in Naruto.
Which is
my problem with Naruto is that I don't like any of the main cast members aside from Kakashi.
Yeah,
because I find Naruto to be kind of obnoxious and preachy at times. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sasuke is my least favorite character in all of Naruto. I don't care what.
Don't get me started on that idiot.
That emo edgelord bitch needs to fucking die in Boruto. I don't read Boruto. I don't watch Boruto, but he needs to, because that man is the epitome of everything I hate in Naruto.
All right, so just a quick pause for a second. We have finished our One Piece rant. Now it's time to rant about Naruto. So let's keep this going. Let's keep the energy going. So
yeah.
So honestly, what is honestly a considered consensus among the Naruto fandom, even though Tsunade is pretty, she's a decent healer, a lot of people consider her the weakest Hokage out of the 8.
In my opinion, I think she's honestly one of the best Hokage because she's probably kept the peace longer than most other Hokages. And she's also one of the best people who kept, when I say best people, I mean, they were still human after they became Hokage. Because Hiruzen was the worst Hokage by a mile.
Ain't that the truth?
Because he managed to let Danzo, that fucking scheming bastard, go off on his business and fucking plan a coup against the... Dude, the fact Danzo is the one major reason that I think most Naruto fans hate Hiruzen.
Yeah.
But my biggest problem with him is everything he did to Naruto specifically.
Thank you. Somebody says it.
You know, the moment that man went down to hell, he was he definitely did not see fucking Minato and Kushina in heaven. That man was down in the depths
you just reminded me of that fan animation. I'll have to link you the video later. But it's basically Hiruzen wakes up in heaven and he comes face to face with a pissed off Minato and Kushina, and they're like, "So about that promise." And it is the greatest 3 minutes of fan animation history of all time. They are just belittling the man like crazy. And
the thing was, I can understand not wanting to raise Naruto, but here's the thing: you could have at least tried to incorporate him into society. Tried to make him at least... How do I word this? Because I remember Sasuke's mother wanted to adopt Naruto, but that was not the best thing for him because if they had Naruto, that coup would have actually worked.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. If they had the Nine Tails, the Uchihas would have won. No question.
In all honesty, because like I know where you're going with this, because there's so many different lore. You have the manga, which is just everybody not everybody. Most people prefer the manga over the anime, but the anime gives certain characters more character development that they couldn't in the manga. Like, for example,
it's weird that like there's certain characters that get more development in the manga and some characters that get more development in the anime. It is a very weird mix.
It really is, but I think that's why a lot of people like both, because, like I said, Sasuke's mom, to your point, Sasuke's mom wanting to adopt Naruto was an anime-only thing. They've never even mentioned that in the manga. And the reason why it was kind of explained why Naruto being an Uchiha would have been terrible was because of the fact that, like you said, Sasuke's dad is the leader of the coup. If he had power over Naruto, he could have brainwashed him into doing anything.
Honestly, yeah. And, like, I feel like if you were in Hiruzen's shoes, I can understand not wanting to let someone adopt Naruto that was going to put a coup, but come on, you could have at least told Tsunade. Tsunade would have taken him in a heartbeat. You cannot convince me otherwise.
Or I don't know, Jiraiya, Kakashi.
Literally any of them would have taken Naruto in a heartbeat. But he chose to isolate Naruto, further separating him from the people of the village, giving him no protection from any sort of invaders. Like, if the Akatsuki had wanted to take the fucking Nine Tails sooner, all they would have had to have done is attack before he got into the Chunin exams. And they could have had the Nine Tails easily, ignoring that massive plot hole.
You know what? That honestly raises a good question. Because even Orochimaru actually says, oh, the Nine Tails brat, well, I'll leave him alone for the others. Like, he's referring to the Akatsuki, but he could have just abducted Naruto right then and there, and so
many Akatsuki members just gave up the opportunity to capture Naruto for some stupid reason. Even Itachi in his first ever, like, attack just doesn't take Naruto back with him. He just goes over, torments Bitchsuke for a bit, and then leaves.
Well, no, the reason why is you also got to keep in mind Itachi was a double agent the entire time.
That is a good point. But that's surely Kisame, who's very loyal to the Akatsuki, wouldn't have fell for that shit.
Well, like, also keep in mind when we saw that flashback episode before Kisame died, he had a flashback of the first time he ever interacted with Itachi. And basically, Itachi put the fear of God into this man. If Itachi and Kisame were to fight, Kisame would go down with little to no effort. I think that's why he never actually questioned Itachi's orders. Itachi would say something, and Kisame took it as gospel. Like,
yeah, but it's just the thing of, like, so many of the Akatsuki members gave up opportunities to capture the Nine Tails and win everything.
They really did. They really did.
And, like, Pain is, like, the only one that actually did his fucking job.
And then undid the Nine Tails. Freaking wipes out half the Lee village and then immediately brings them back.
Yeah. Dude, I'm gonna be honest. Hiruzen is just the worst Hokage because he let the most despicable shit happen in his fucking country. Really so I have to ask the question, what the fuck did that man do as Hokage? Because I genuinely can't remember one good thing that man did aside from stop Orochimaru. And that was like the last thing he did as Hokage.
Quote unquote, stop Orochimaru?
And then, even then, it didn't do much because Orochimaru just came back anyway. Like 6 times.
He did. And, yeah, so, well, honestly, to your point, okay, what did Hiruzen do? Okay, keep in mind, from what little age-wise we understand, Hiruzen became Hokage roughly around the age of, like, 20 years old. By the time he dies, the man is pushing 70 years old. So for 50 years, granted the fourth Hokage did take up the mantle for like all of like 2 years and then died, but for roughly 50 years, the third Hokage kept the quote-unquote peace in the village. But when you stop and think about it, he became the Hokage after the Third Great Ninja War. Of course there's going to be peace. The war just ended. So I don't really think he did much. And to another point, why did Danzo get away with absolutely everything he fucking did? He's the one that released Naruto's identity. Okay? He's the one that basically ordered the Uchiha to stay put. When the Ninetales attacked, the Uchiha were getting ready to go to work. You know, they were going to use their fire style to like weaken the flames or whatever. He ordered the Uchiha to sit still. Then when the third Hokage went to the Uchihas, like, where were you? Where were you during the invasion? They were under orders not to get involved.
Yeah, so when people say like Tsunade is the worst Hokage, I refuse to accept that when Hiruzen's life was just absolutely pitiful as a Hokage. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm sure he was an absolute badass in his prime before he became Hokage, but the moment Tobirama hit the goddamn floor, Hiruzen just failed at everything he did.
I think the reason why people say Tsunade is the worst, they're not talking about what she accomplished, they're talking about power scaling. Because let's be honest, Tsunade is honestly the weakest one.
She's probably the weakest one, but you gotta remember, you're talking about 3 different prodigies, that being Kakashi, Naruto, and Minato, the first Hokage who created pretty much everything in Hashirama, and the person who he deemed as the second strongest, Tobirama. Now, Hiruzen and Tsunade are both at the bottom of that list, but I think the only reason to give props to Hiruzen is because Hiruzen has a lot more on-screen feats than Tsunade, because Tsunade's feats don't exactly go with her, because like the major feat she has was being able to hold off against Madara pretty well. I mean, but even that...
I feel like the only feat the third Hokage actually had was just stopping the invasion of the Hidden Leaf, and that's it. We don't ever do anything.
He also managed to... I know people gas it up a lot more than it was actually worth, but he did stop Orochimaru at the time. And, like, sure, it was his last act as Hokage, and I don't think it was a very worthwhile one, considering less than 3 arcs later, he was already back to full power.
Right, I just remembered
hiding inside of Sasuke.
I just remembered something. I completely forgot that he fought not only Orochimaru, but he fought the first and second Hokage at the same time.
Which I think is why people will gas him up as a lot stronger than Tsunade.
Yeah,
but I feel like Tsunade's strength doesn't lie in her strength per se. It is more so in the fact that she is the best medical ninja to ever exist.
True, she's more invested in healing than anything else, but I feel like, like you said, a lot of people gas up the third Hokage because, he stopped the first and second. Also, keep in mind, the first and second Hokages were not at full power. Because, number one, Kishimoto was still writing the entire thing. And number two, if you look at the first Hokage when we first see him during the invasion of the Hidden Leaf, compared to the Fourth Great Ninja War... Come on, they're 2 different characters.
I'm going to say this now. The Fourth Great Ninja War is the worst written arc in Naruto. It is the coolest looking, but it is the worst written. Because it has the most plot holes of any arc in any anime I've seen.
What I honestly hate about the whole why the Fourth Great Ninja War even happened, okay? I'm going to say it. It is all because of a simp. That's the whole reason why it even happened.
Obito started the war for varying reasons, but yes... He was a simp. I'm not denying that fact. That is not why he started the war. He started the war to get revenge on Kakashi. And if anything, it was more about emotions towards Kakashi than it was towards Rin in that particular instance. But I do agree that Obito was a simp.
But it honestly annoys me because we find out why Rin died in the first place. She was made into the Three Tails Chinchuriki against her will, and she wanted to be set free of that curse. So, I mean, Kakashi wasn't even aiming at her. She jumped in the way.
Also, Brain Freeze has a new prompt to summarize the entire Naruto lore. You have 3 sentences. Naruto! Sasuke! And then I've caught up with you.
Naruto! Sasuke! Can't forget Sakura.
Yeah, I have caught up with you. The biggest joke in Naruto.
Oh, God. Team 7 at 100% power. All 3 of them. Team 7 at 99% power. Just Sasuke and Naruto.
And I'm going to be honest. I think it's calling it a stretch to even put Sasuke out there. Like, Sasuke makes up maybe 30% of the power of that group. It is entirely riding on Naruto's shoulders.
It totally is. Because, to quote one of the greatest lines in history, during the Fourth Great Ninja War, Naruto was out of here giving the Nine Tails chakra cloak to everybody like it was stimulus checks, and Sasuke was still struggling to beat him.
Dude, Sasuke was an op for most of the fucking war. He was actively working against the Hidden Leaf.
Yeah, until his brother was like, maybe you should work with the Hidden Leaf, you're right.
Yeah, until one of his fellow terrorists says, maybe these non-terrorist guys are good.
That is honestly
like with every fiber of my being.
The 3 worst characters of Naruto of all time. Okay, in this order. I don't care what anybody says. In this order. Number 3, Sakura. Get off the high horse that she beat Sasori. Anybody could have beaten Sasori. He was the weakest member. Number 2, okay, we got freaking Sasuke as one of the worst characters of all time. Okay, let's be honest. The dude's whole character arc is revenge. Insert person here, that's who he wants revenge against. During all of Naruto as a child, I need to kill my brother. During the teenage years, I need to kill my brother. Oh, now I need to kill the man responsible for why my brother's dead. You killed him! You killed your brother, not Danzo! And to that point, it is a tie for worst character of all time between the 3rd Hokage and Danzo himself.
Yeah, I say this as take it with a grain of salt because I am a One Piece fan, and Naruto fans are going to say, "Oh, One Piece fans, they just talk shit about Naruto all the time." Naruto has its good moments. Like, it has some amazing animation and has amazing fight scenes, but it is written like a 5-year-old on Adderall wrote the script.
Yeah, to brain freeze point, it has moments where it's poorly written, but you also got to keep in mind we're summarizing why we have beef with these shows. Like, the way it's written where the creator himself kept adding more details later on that weren't originally there. Like, for example, during the entire early years of Naruto, when Naruto was born until we first meet him, he was raised as an orphan. It wasn't until later where it was revealed that the 3rd Hokage had promised Naruto's mom to raise him as his own son. But as you can see, that never happened. That was just put there to be emotional for when the 3rd Hokage showed up. Because
if I could summarize Naruto in one sentence, it is toxic relationships.
Exactly.
Because absolutely no one was good to Naruto until he started saving their asses. And even after they were a bit of a dick to him.
Ramen guy.
Okay, Ramen guy's chill. We like Ramen guy. Everyone else, fucking assholes.
Haruka Sensei.
I think, yeah, I'll give you Haruka, but here's the thing. It suffers from stupid war symptom.
Basically, the only 3 characters that ever treated Naruto as an actual human instead of a demon were Ramen Guy, and by extension his daughter, so technically 4. Ramen
I wouldn't say that
his daughter, Iruka, and Hinata. They were the only ones that actually cared about Naruto as a person instead of just the avatar of the Nine Tails.
And I would even be kind of remiss to throw Shikamaru casually in there because he was he wasn't a dick to Naruto. He just wasn't actively hanging around with him.
No, it was kind of one of those things that everybody's treating this guy like crap, but why?
Yeah, he was one of the few that actually asked the question, why do you guys treat this guy like shit? So we don't dislike Shikamaru, but we don't like him for that particular issue either. I wouldn't call Star Wars poorly written.
Wait, no. He's talking Disney Star Wars.
Oh, Disney Star Wars. Yeah, then, yeah, perfectly fine. Disney Star Wars is not canon. We don't count it.
Yeah, no. They did us dirty. They took away Mara Jade. Luke's wife.
I know. In all honesty,
and they made the greatest Jedi of all time non-canon. How can you take away Revan? Why?
They did the same thing to fucking Starkiller. What do you expect?
I don't care what anybody says. Force Unleashed is still canon in my head. It fits perfectly between 3 and 4.
I'll let you live with that.
We don't talk about part 2. We only talk about part 1. Part 1 is still canon. I don't care what anybody says.
Goddamn. In all honesty, Naruto ranks up in the highest animes because it was a great success at the time. But I think even Kishimoto did state that he wrote himself into a corner with Madara because he couldn't figure out how to end Naruto because he kind of propped Madara up way too far in terms of power to where almost no one could beat him. And then the way he did end it, it almost felt like a retcon of Madara's abilities, if you know what I mean.
It really was. And then now in the Boruto era, it turns out that it's space aliens.
Yeah, I think everyone universally agrees that when Kaguya came onto the scene, Naruto dropped off hard.
It,
But I think Naruto wasn't that great of an anime to start with, so dropping even harder than that was a major fall from grace.
no, honestly, it honestly is, but it's got those moments where like
Yeah.
if you could take it, if you could take it in bite size, like don't binge watch it all in one go because then you're gonna drive yourself insane with so many questions of like, well, why didn't they do this? Only to have that answered like 5 seasons later. It's one of those things of like, watch one full season, digest it, go to the next season, or watch something else. It's one of those take it or leave it type of animes where you're not gonna go out of your way to watch it, but it's there if you got nothing else to do.
Yeah, I mean, Naruto cemented its place because at the time it was one of the best manga. It's got a reason for being in the big three, at least.
No, yeah,
it is.
Yeah. Right, Brain Free. Brain Free has an amazing point. Read what he just said.
I am not acknowledging the existence of force healing, so I'm not acknowledging that comment right now.
Well, we're not talking Disney force healing. We're talking the actual Old Republic.
The concept didn't even exist in the original books, so it's really just a Disney thing.
Technically, no, because if you played any of the old Star Wars games, force healing actually was a thing.
Okay, but those were in non-canon games for the most part.
Well, technically, no. Did you ever play Star Wars Revenge of the Sith, the video game? There was force healing in that.
When?
In the entire game. When you're running around as Anakin or Obi-Wan, you can...
Oh, yeah, but that's because it's game mechanics, not because it was actually meant to be canon. We don't count that.
It still happened.
Fuck, I can't acknowledge that. We're moving on from force healing because otherwise I'm going to get into a rant about how Disney ruins everything it touches.
Bro, you're acting as if that's something newsworthy. Like, we all know.
I know, which is why I want unique takes for the first stream of this series.
Okay, fine. Unique take. Episode 7 was actually kind of good. And then 8 and 9 were...
Force Awakens, yes. Everything after was trash. And even some of the projects before, because I don't acknowledge the existence of Solo, and I think Rogue One was a waste of time and money.
Although that Vader scene was amazing.
No, the Vader scene was fucking fire, don't get me wrong. But it was the rest of the movie I had a problem with.
Yeah, let's be honest. The only reason why anybody watched Rogue One was because of Vader, and that's it. Let's be honest. But
people gassed that movie up way more than it deserves. See, they say it was the only good Disney Marvel or Disney Star Wars movie, and I'm like, absolutely fucking not. Force Awakens was great. Everything after was shit. Rogue One barely makes it into like the top 15 Star Wars movies, and there's not even 15 to exist.
Well, what about season 7 of Clone Wars?
That's not really a movie per se.
Well, true, but it is Disney Star Wars because the first 6 seasons was Cartoon Network.
I feel like Clone Wars was weird because like I loved the show, but they did eventually have to end it somehow, and it's kind of hard when you have established characters that are canon. Yeah, trying to merge them into the canon like movies. It's really hard to do that, and I respect them for what they did. Yeah. Did it come out perfectly? Not in my opinion, but I don't blame them for that. I don't
care what anybody says. The Ahsoka show, the live action, was complete trash. Although the actress that plays Sabine, she had a nice bottom.
God damn. Anyway, so yeah, I think
also to Brain Freeze point. How do you peak at mid? How do you peak at mid? Is he talking Naruto or Disney Star Wars?
Honestly, either or.
We kind of jumped from one topic immediately to the next.
Yeah, honestly. Yeah, if you guys have any questions in chat, let us know. We will be glad to answer them. And I got one take that I've got, but I don't want to say it right now because I feel like the wound of Akira Toriyama's death is still kind of fresh.
Let Leo cook. What am I cooking?
Yeah. No, in all honesty, I loved Dragon Ball as a kid, but I think it should have either ended at the Cell arc where Goku died, or they should have stuck to the Gohan taking over the mantle thing. Because in my opinion, everything that happened after Goku's revival was bullshit.
Yeah.
Because I think that's where I fell off of Dragon Ball hard. And I think I've even spoken to Brain Free in private or like in group chats about this.
Yeah.
Dragon Ball was great, but then it started teabagging the concept of death so hard that there was no intensity in any fights anymore.
There really wasn't. Like, I'm gonna be
And, like,
honest. The only
there was
time,
no
Mhm. Go ahead.
there was no risk again, I think, until the Tournament of Power, in which I was so excited because it was finally a chance to see someone probably stay dead as a character, and
Only
then
for them to really-
bring them all back.
Yeah.
And I was just
I
like,
honestly
okay, well,
I honestly feel like now this is gonna be a hot take that a lot of people kind of just don't really agree with, but a lot of people kind of do. I feel like the stakes were at their absolute peak during the Frieza arc, because this was still the era where death was permanent.
yeah,
And, well, permanent as in, like, if you die a second time, you're permanently gone because the Earth's Dragon Balls can't repeat the same wish. Like, remember
yeah,
the
and then they brought
Raditz fight?
in Dragon Balls and shit.
Yeah, remember the whole Raditz fight? Goku, let us help you. Sorry, Krillin, if you die a second time, you can never be brought back. So death means death, huh? Yes, as it should be. But let's be honest. The whole Frieza arc. Okay, once Piccolo is dead. Okay, we go to Namek to get more Dragon Balls. Earth's Guru is gone. Piccolo is back. Oh no, Piccolo's dying. Goku's a Super Saiyan. You didn't know what was actually gonna happen. Anything could have happened.
Yeah.
Then when you get to the Android saga, it was like you kind of knew right then and there the heroes were going to win because Super Saiyans were introduced. But Goku being the first was like, what the hell is this? He was getting his ass beat. Now he's whooping ass. It was one of those.
Yeah, and it was a thing of like there was actually intensity, there was risk, there was everything in the old Dragon Ball fights. But what really killed it off was when they brought Goku back, because like killing off Goku would have been the smartest move ever, because it would show you that there is a risk to these fights. They're not just there for show. And that it would also lead Vegeta to go down his character arc that he was already going down before they brought Goku back, of trying to reconcile with the fact that he doesn't have that rival anymore. He'd have to kind of find a new purpose, and Gohan would have to accept the mantle of being a Saiyan, because he was always against it. He wanted to be a scholar. And they ruined both of those arcs by bringing Goku back.
They honestly did, but you know what? In all honesty, there are actually two stories that I actually want to bring to your attention. The first one is by Salad Saiyan. It goes, what if Vegeta trained Gohan? And this entire story takes place after the Cell games, where Vegeta, basically not wanting any more like threats to be stronger than them, picks Gohan to be his rival, and then they start training. So honestly, I like that concept. I like the idea of Gohan reigniting that fire in Vegeta to wanting to compete against fighting, wanting to be a fighter again. So it makes sense that, hey, Vegeta, look at this level of power that I had that you won't ever achieve, to piss him off so he could achieve it.
Yeah, but at the same time, I feel like that wouldn't work necessarily. Because you got to remember, Gohan was never invested in the whole Saiyan stuff. So if they were to do that arc, like I know I just said that I would rather him try and accept his Saiyan heritage, but not from Vegeta. Vegeta is not the kind of person to accept someone who he deems as inferior to him, start training him. It would be almost a slap in the face to his pride. Except,
when Goku died against Cell, and Cell was completely vaporized during the beam struggle, Vegeta actually said, "I can't believe that I was usurped by not only that bastard Kakarot, but by the bastard's own son." Right then,
I guess that's fair.
He kind of acknowledged the fact that Gohan was stronger. It could be one of those things where, like, Vegeta, as a warrior, doesn't acknowledge Gohan, but he acknowledges his strength. So I could see Vegeta like training Gohan to access that Super Saiyan 2 power at will, because he was only ever shown to use it during the Cell fight and against Bojack, which I don't care what anybody says, that's still my headcanon. Bojack is still canon.
And I'm going to say this now. The only Dragon Ball transformation that I've actually liked since the first ever Super Saiyan, there's only been one transformation that I think was actually worth the hype, and that was Super Saiyan. Oh, I think it was God. Is that the one with the tail? He's like, no, that's like the red shirt, the black hair. Is that Super Saiyan 3? 4?
No, that's 4.
Yeah, that was the only transformation that I think was actually worth the hype, because it's the only thing that changed something other than his fucking hair color.
Right?
Like every single like transformation, including Ultra Instinct, come at me, was super lame because it was just a hair color change. Like, sure, there were differences in powers, but it felt like none of them were worth the damn hype. Like, there was nothing cool about any of them. When you look at the other, like, major animes, Naruto, don't necessarily like the anime, but every form change is unique. Stage mode is a fucking masterpiece design. Baryon mode looks cool, shit form, but... And then you've got fucking Luffy, Gear 4th, Gear 3rd, Gear 5th, all of them amazing. Ichigo, all of his forms are amazing.
Ain't that the truth? To Braid Free's point, he says, I want Gohan to accept his heritage in honor of Goten, as Goten likely will not be into the same training and power as Goku and Vegeta, and Goku will always have to deal with her.
And I feel like with Goku dead, Chi-Chi would probably refrain Goten from probably becoming the super fighty warrior type. But she couldn't stop that with Gohan, let's be honest. It was kind of too late on that. But she could probably stop with Goten, since she still has some sort of control over Goten that she didn't have over Gohan while Goku was alive.
True. Technically, it was actually Chi-Chi's fault Goten even wanted to be a fighter. Because if you watch if you watch the anime, Chi-Chi was always training with Goten because his father wasn't around. He wanted Goten to have at least some type of like self-defense. And keep in mind, she was the reason he went Super Saiyan. He almost took his mother's head off.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, like like stop and think about that for a second, okay? Gohan almost died to his father to become a Super Saiyan. Meanwhile, Chi-Chi just kicked Goten in the arm, and Goten's like, I take your head off now. Boom, Super Saiyan. Like,
yeah,
that was the biggest bullshit, aside from Dragon Ball Super's reason why Caulifla and Claire go Super Saiyan.
Yeah, and I'm going to say this now.
Super Saiyan transformation, yeah.
I'm going to say this now. Another hill I'll die on is the ranking of villains goes Cell at top, Boo at second, and Frieza third. I do not care. Frieza is he's a good-ish, like, he's good at being evil, but he has zero purpose. Like, his whole existence is just to be an op. He has literally no...
He's just a space racist, let's be honest.
Yeah,
that's it.
And
he's a space
in my
racist.
opinion, a good anime villain doesn't necessarily have to have a compelling backstory, a good reason why. They just have to have a reason. Look at Doflamingo. He is completely evil, completely sadistic and fucked up in the head.
Yep.
But he has a reason. His upbringing was shit. You don't feel remorseful for him because it's already stated by Rosinante that he was already one fucking cut off the block.
Yep.
But he had the, like, sort of snap moment when his father got their entire family put into poverty and all of their slaves started revolting against them. That's what threw him over the edge and made him become the super evil, sadistic fuck we know now.
Brain free. It's a Super Saiyan bargain sale. Yeah, pretty much. That's pretty much what happened. That's even Vegeta's line when he sees Trunks go Super Saiyan. Why is it a sale on Super Saiyans? Is there a bargain bin sale? Because I mean, yeah, Trunks went Super Saiyan because he was training with Goten. Goten was actually able to go Super Saiyan first. Then Trunks did because Goten was able to do it. Then in Dragon Ball Super, everybody went Super Saiyan because their back was itchy.
Yeah.
What kind of... You know what? I'm not going to get into it. But anyways.
I feel like Dragon Ball was so inconsistent with its own rules at times.
Yeah.
Like, don't get me wrong. Dragon Ball for the first series, like Dragon Ball, and I can't remember the order of series half the time because it's like GT, Super, Dragon Ball Z, and then there was like a shit ton of other ones that I think weren't canon.
Oh, right. You're talking chronologically. Chronologically, Dragon Ball. Chronologically, thank you. The series goes Dragon Ball during the era when Goku was a kid. You have Dragon Ball Z during the entire like adulthood. Now Goku's an adult. From he meets Raditz to he kills Majin Buu. Then it's supposed to go Super because it takes place during that 10-year time skip between Goku kills Majin Buu and now he's fighting Oob. There's like a 10-year window there that's where all of Super takes place, which I thought was a big mistake. Then it goes into Dragon Ball GT where Goku is turned back into a kid.
Yeah.
And then we get the glorious Super Saiyan 4.
But I will say this. Cell was compelling to me because he had a reason for being evil. He wanted to achieve perfection. He never did, but he wanted to achieve absolute perfection, which that's why he became a villain. It's not necessarily a great reason in terms of a mental psyche, but it's a reason that makes sense in his head. Well, just having someone be evil because they want to fuck around and kill someone is not a good reason.
Yeah, like in all honesty, to your point, I agree with your ranking of villains. Like Frieza is definitely. I don't like Frieza. I don't care what anybody says. Frieza was always a boring villain to me. He was just do what I say.
And in all honesty, of all of them, he has the worst forms. I'm saying that now.
Although, to be fair, I did like his final form during the original Z era, but Super just completely like, what are you doing? Why is this man wearing lip balm now? Why is he shiny?
And he had one form that just stretched his head like a goddamn xenomorph.
Because it was inspired by xenomorphs.
It was so ugly, and I think it was one of the worst forms in Dragon Ball I've ever seen.
Yeah, definitely. But to your point,
but then you have,
to your point, between the three villains, because let's be honest, there's only three actual villains of Dragon Ball Z: Frieza, Cell, and Buu. Frieza is definitely bottom tier. We're gonna ignore Super for this conversation. Majin Buu, I felt like was a little bit better when it came to being a monster of destruction. Because he's able to breathe in space. He was designed to be evil incarnate. He didn't have a reason to do the shit he did. He just wanted to kill because he found pleasure in it. That made sense. And it wasn't until he absorbed the Supreme Grand Kai to basically calm him the hell down. But my favorite villain is Cell, and there actually is more to what you were saying about why Cell is a villain. It's the DNA. Everything that's in him is what makes him be a villain. He has King Piccolo's DNA in him. He's got Frieza's DNA. He's got early's Vegeta in him. He wants to be the best. How do you be the best? Absorb the androids and obtain perfection. Him wanting to prove himself to the Z Fighters was the Vegeta and Frieza blood in him.
Did you just say Janemba counts as a fucking Dragon Ball villain?
Janemba?
I don't remember him either, to be fair.
Oh no, he was, well, hold on, we'll get to Brayford. Janemba was the villain of the Fusion Reborn movie, which I'm going to admit was not really the greatest movie.
Okay, that's another one. Broly is another really good villain. But I feel like he was done better in the more recent movie than the original.
Yeah. He was a demon in the first incarnation.
Oh, don't get me wrong. The second one that original Broly gave was a fucking nightmare to watch. You watched that shit and you felt uncomfortable. You watched him give Vegeta a sex change.
Yeah, honest to God, Cell was the absolute best villain of DBC ever. Yes, Cell upon conception, I think he meant completion, had absolute belief that was perfect. He was made by the most powerful, genetically modified to be top dog from day one. True. Janemba, okay. Janemba is kind of one of those mixed bags of villains. I don't like him as a villain. I just like the concept of what he represents, and his powers were amazing. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Like the dude did that line and just sent shards of glass flying. Let's be honest, that was kind of hot.
Yeah, and I gotta be honest, in terms of like looks wise, I think it still has Frieza at the last. I'm gonna include Broly in the ranking now because I forgot him initially, but it goes Frieza last. Majin Buu's forms were all gas. Like there was not a single bad form. Cell was amazing in most of his designs. But you got to remember that first design, or not the first design, the first power up he got was absolutely hideous.
Yeah, his second form with the gigantic lips that everybody memed on to oblivion.
Yeah, when he lost the beak, he lost the monster factor. But when he didn't have when he still had most of the alien parts to him, it almost looked like a weird transitionary period. And I get that was what it was meant to be, but it doesn't look right.
Yeah, I get you.
Like it looked almost uncomfortable. But then you got Buu, who every one of his forms were fucking amazing.
Exactly. Like, Fat Buu is definitely bottom list. Super Buu and all those transformations are top tier. And then we can't...
And then don't mention Kid Buu. Kid Buu was a fucking menace to society.
He was. And what I honestly like is, I like that if you played any of the old Budokai games, not Tenkaichi, the original Budokai, they actually had forms that were never released. You had Majin Buu when he absorbed Frieza, when he absorbed Cell, when he absorbed Tien, Yamcha, Vegeta. There's actually a concept idea of what he would have looked like with Vegeta's outfit, and I'm not gonna lie, the drip was immaculate.
Dude, I mean, fucking Super Buu managed to rock Goku's outfit better than Goku.
Right?
So imagine him in in Vegeta's outfit.
Oh god, it was cool. Actually, you know what? I'll pull up the image right now and I'll send it to you.
I can just Google it up here because I've got the live stream showing my Google. Just empty Google Vegeta Super Boo because I really want to see that. Like, how does this go so fucking hard? Like, even in its most basic ass form, it still looks awesome. And
yeah,
the classic fit's just okay. That's very shitty photoshopping, but just in concept visualizing this, I really wish that this had happened.
Oh, I found the perfect one. Hold on. Oh, wait, stop. Right. Yeah, you found it. That first one. That first one that you were clicking. Yep, that one. You gotta admit, that looks good.
It does. And, like, dude, I shit on Dragon Ball a little bit because everything after Cell Arc was pretty meh.
Yeah.
But it had its moments back in the day.
Sparking Zero is going to be an amazing game. I want it. I want that game so bad.
They better give some sort of tribute to Akira Toriyama in the game. Because that's the last project I think he had any sort of input on, really.
That and Daima?
Yeah, but do we know anything about Daima? I haven't seen that yet.
Well, from the trailer alone, it's basically a villain turns the entire multiverse into children. I don't really know. Like, the trailer made no sense. Like, Goku is a kid again, but so is Gohan, and Goten's a baby now.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I'm probably not gonna do anything with that because I don't.
I'm gonna be honest.
Dragon Ball game.
Yeah, I will be honest. When it comes to Daima, it is the last project Akira Toriyama worked on. So, out of respect and admiration from the man's legacy, I am going to watch it from start to finish. Whether it's good or bad remains to be seen because it hasn't been released yet. As for Sparking Zero, my God, the
game looks fucking cool. I just wish I had the actual skill to play
it. That's why if you ever want to... Here's actually something a lot of people kind of did that I didn't realize that they did, because I thought it was like, oh, I found a secret way to get good at the game, only to realize, oh, wow, it's something everybody does. Go into training mode with whatever character is your favorite one. Put the enemy's difficulty on max. As you're fighting him, as he's completely dominating your ass, your skills are forced to increase on the spot. Like, I kid you not, I put the difficulty on max level. I went from not being able to do absolutely anything to basically one-shotting against my friends because of how difficult the computer was.
Yeah, I feel that because, like, that's how I basically got as good at Smoosh Bros as I am to this day, because I played against my friends Kingston and Sam. Those two are menaces. You have to get better. Brain Free can attest to this fact. You have to evolve, or you will be put in the dirt so many times, it'll look like you've been buried 6,000 times in a graveyard. You could fill an entire graveyard with how fucking many times they dig your fucking... You know what I mean?
Brain Free's called me out and I accept the challenge.
That would be sick.
I accept.
Yeah. Dude, I love Dragon Ball so much, like the original Dragon Ball. Yeah. I wish it had ended on such a high note.
Yeah, because in all honesty, I forgot. There was another thing I was going to tell you. I am going to write a name to you on Discord because the way this guy writes stories is not really YouTube friendly. So,
okay.
Right now, the way he writes his stories, they're all completely hand drawn from scratch. And I love the idea of the story he did. It's called Dragon Ball Z: The Golden Age, right?
Yeah.
And it's an entire story that takes place after Cell dies and Gohan accepting his Saiyan heritage, but also relying on his humanity. So what it does is, now that Goku's dead, Chi-Chi wants Gohan to do nothing but study. And Gohan basically he stands up, turns around, and goes full blast Super Saiyan 2, and tells his mom that without his dad around to protect the Earth, he needs to pick up that mantle. He understands where she's coming from, that in order to have a future, you need to be book smart. But without the strength to protect the Earth, what is the point of being intelligent if there's nothing to protect?
Yeah, it sounds interesting.
You know, and the entire story going forward, it takes place during the BoJack movie, going forward into like this whole like its own universe thing. But if you do watch the story, I gotta say two things. Number one, he mixes all lore of Dragon Ball into one thing. He fuses Dragon Quest lore into the story. He does a lot of Dragon Ball Super manga and all that stuff. Like, okay, I don't care what anybody says. Ain't no way Super Saiyan 2 BoJack can fight Beerus to a standstill. I don't care. Whether BoJack has magical powers that can negate the Hakai. I don't care. Okay, ain't no way. But the rest of the story, it's a chef's kiss, dude, because he did something that no one else has ever done in a what if story. He redeemed Zanguya into being a hero. She was
No
only
fucking
working
way.
with Yeah, she was only working with BoJack because of the fact that BoJack destroyed their home planet and made Songoya kill her own little brother. And she only killed him because she didn't want to die.
We got Kirishima texting stories in the chat. Yo, welcome to the stream.
Bro.
So, yeah, you can ask any question you want about any anime, really. We've done so much on One Piece, Naruto, and Dragon Ball. And we even done a little bit on Isekai, but we kind of glossed that one over a little bit more so.
Yeah, we will go back to that one because I didn't really give my answer on what is my favorite isekai of all time because I haven't actually seen anything that qualifies as isekai. Like, I know Reincarnated as a Slime is an isekai, I just haven't actually seen it.
Dude, you and I should just go and watch the whole of fucking Slime anime together. I will show you why I love that show so much. And no, it is not just because fan service. Although that does play a part.
No, if we're going to talk about fan service, we need to talk Fairy Tail.
Oh, I ain't having this argument. Fairy Tail does not do fan service bad. It does it amazingly.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. We got to talk Fairy Tail because
Fairy Tail is like so slept on. I don't know why, but there's very few people I know that have watched Fairy Tail and ever talk about it. Like, I know Beck and Festive are two people in my friend group specifically that have watched at least a little bit of Fairy Tail. But most people, when they talk about Fairy Tail, they don't talk about the menace, the absolute maniac that is Acnologia. That man is a demon.
Bro, when he killed Urza's mom and was just shin-stomping the corpse in front of Urza, I was like, someone needs to kill this son of a bitch!
Dude, if you can come onto screen and make Dragon Slayers, who are probably built up as the strongest in the entire verse, it bricks. You know you're doing something right as a villain.
Exactly. Not only that, even Gildarts was terrified of him.
Dude, honestly, like, I don't know why they wouldn't give us more backstory on him, because it was very vague as to what his backstory actually was about.
Oh, it's because of the fact that well, actually, they did like an entire two-parter explaining Acnologia's backstory.
Yeah, but it almost felt incomplete to me, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I think it's because of the fact that, like, I think the writer himself even came to the realization that sometimes villains don't need a backstory to be villains. Like, it's one of those things that, like, he was about to start, and then he's like, yeah, no, screw it, we're just going to get back to the fight. Yeah,
I find that if you don't have a backstory, at least some reason for what drove you to the point, or something like that, it de-escalates everything I feel about you as a character. At that point, you're more of an obstacle. You're more like I feel as much like emotion, good or bad, towards you as a fucking mountaintop covered in spikes.
Well, I think,
like, sure, you're a threat, but it doesn't mean I have to fear you.
Right. I think the main reason why Acnologia was the way he was in the flashback, it was stated that Acnologia is basically as old as Zarif, right? You know, the Black Wizard. He's as old as him. And the Black Plague that killed Zarif's family also killed Acnologia's family. Acnologia was trying to find a way to, you know, like, make a cure or whatever, or make them immune. He wasn't able to create it, so they ended up dying. He blames Zarif and gave into what was known as destruction magic, which basically turned him into, like, the ultimate, like, absolute god not god, dragon, into the absolute dragon that he was, the absolute unit. The reason why he is the way he is because of the destruction magic in his body. He just gave in to destruction, and that's why he does what he does.
Yeah. I actually made like an Actinologia Deku story back, oh god, that was a fucking year ago. I made that story, and that was probably one of my worst received first episodes ever. And it was mainly because I don't like doing overpowered characters, but I do think I agree with a lot of the sentiment that I did nerf him too much.
Yeah.
Because I had to try and equalize him to My Hero Academia power levels, which are not...
That was an absolute nightmare to do.
Yeah, it was never going to work. It was either I was going to make a really dull, overpowered story, which I hate doing, or I was going to make it somewhat nerfed, and then I realized I actually made him very nerfed in comparison, because I didn't realize this going into it, but My Hero characters are not even near the level of Fairy Tail characters.
They're really not. You would have to either nerf one of them or buff the other one, which
Shigaraki, All For One, and Deku are like the highest powerful ones, and All Might Prime. I'll even throw Stars and Stripes there, even though she doesn't have many feats. But those five do not even compare to some of the weaker dragons. Huh?
Yep. No, I was saying Stars and Stripes. Does she have any feats at all?
I mean, she gave Shigaraki fucking Vietnam flashbacks.
Yeah, true.
But no, those five comparatively don't even rank up against some of the weaker members of Fairy Tail.
Yep.
But in all honesty, Actinologia is a beast. I just couldn't do him justice in a series.
I honestly, I actually did my own My Hero Fairy Tail AU called Godslayer Deku. With that title alone, you should probably already know what the story's about.
Yeah.
Yeah, I basically made him this universe's version of Zarif, only without... Oh, no, not Zarif. Zancrow. I basically made him Zancrow without the insane part.
Yeah, and it's just...
Yeah?
Set, you go ahead.
Oh. What I actually did was I played into the whole fairy tale aspect by also buffing everybody else. So the My Hero characters, I buffed them to be on par with the fairy tale characters up until you get to the like mid B class of wizards. Anything above that, they were going to struggle. So like one of my favorite fights that I did was I had Kirishima go into his unbreakable form, fighting Elfman in hand-to-hand combat, and it was basically...
What are you going to do my boy Kirishima like that? What do you do to you?
I made them fight to a standstill. They knocked each other out. It was basically Fat Gum versus Kendo Rappa all over again. Elfman barely won. Kirishima, like, he gave his all. He poured his soul into this fight and eventually just passed out unconscious. And Elfman was like, that was manly. We should do it again. And then he passes out too.
Yeah.
Like, come on, the two guys that constantly yell manly, if I didn't have these two fight, it would have been an injustice to the anime kingdom.
It actually would have. Nah, in all honesty, like, Fairy Tail is such an underrated anime. Like, I get why people probably don't compare it to the likes of Naruto, Bleach, One Piece, Dragon Ball, but it is up there with one of the best, like, I think it's definitely like the top 10 best written anime. It definitely beats Naruto out in that factor for that alone.
It may have like one or two plot holes that kind of make absolutely no sense, but if you look past that, it is good. I think
even if you say like those two plot holes, compare them to the fucking war arc alone, and you're already like 60 behind.
Truth, and to Brain Free's point, he's got a point. You could drop Dragon Ball Goku from when he was a kid or young teenager, depending on which one we're talking about, and he could solo.
I mean, I wouldn't say any DBZ character can solo the MHA-verse, but almost all of them can, yeah. Because, like, I would definitely say Krillin gets given a hard time in MHA. I don't care what anyone says. People will gas up Dragon Ball to the ends of the earth.
Well,
but
I mean...
I will say Goku beats a good few verses.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think that people start capping when they say he can beat the Bleach verse. He doesn't beat Ichigo. No, like... If you keep up with like manga and anime Ichigo, he has no way of killing Ichigo. Plus, technically Ichigo's died so many times and been brought back to life by fucking plot armor convenience.
That's like Goku!
Yeah, except Goku's ones at least have some physical manifestation, that being Dragon Balls or Senzu Beans. If we're saying it's in a world with none of those things,
He's talking like early Dragon Ball. I'm guessing like from before he even trained with Roshi. Okay, now I'm gonna have to give you the L on that one. That
I mean,
version
he'd
of
probably
Goku,
give a good few MHA characters the business, but I definitely don't think he can beat all of MHA.
definitely not.
Because like Shigaraki, he has to get into hand-to-hand combat in original DB.
Yeah.
Shigaraki can decay him past existence.
What I honestly like. Okay, let's circle back to Krillin. I feel like Krillin could give the entire My Hero universe a run for their money, because you also got to keep in mind, as much as people like to make fun of the fact that it's the Goku and Vegeta show, you also got to keep in mind a lot of the humans they're planet destroyers if they wanted to. They're pretty OP.
I wouldn't call them planet destroyers. Most of the Dragon Ball characters, like the top tiers, are definitely planet destroyers. But people like Krillin, Tien, Yamcha, they don't destroy planets. They do maybe cities, maybe countries.
That's the thing, though. They could be planet destroyers, but they purposely hold back. Here's the perfect example to understand how powerful they are. Okay, Krillin fought Super Saiyan Blue Goku. Granted, yes, he got his ass completely destroyed, but keep in mind, he held a beam struggle with a literal god for 30 seconds. Granted, he did lose that beam struggle, but the fact that he was able to even slow that beam for even a few seconds should tell you how strong this guy is, and he don't even train that much. Tien, absolute unit that is slept on. In the original Dragon Ball Z arc, during the Namek Saga, we had an entire filler episode of Yamcha, Tien, and Chaozu fighting the Ginyu Force. The Ginyu Force was wiping the floor with Vegeta, and the Z Fighters basically one-shotted the Ginyu Force.
Yeah.
That should tell you how strong. That should tell you how strong they are. And the reason why I say they are planet destroyers is because think about this, okay? Now, really think about this. Goku versus Vegeta for the very first time. Vegeta and Goku, the Kamehameha versus the Gallic Gun. Vegeta said, "Dodge this Kakarot, and the planet will be destroyed." Right then and there, that Vegeta is able to destroy Earth if he chose to. Now, look at the Namek Saga. The Z-Fighters were wiping the floor with the Ginyu Force. The same force that was given a powered-up Vegeta a run for his money. That alone should tell you that they could destroy the Earth if they wanted to.
Yeah. And I'll quickly just acknowledge Kirishima. Shigaraki is massively underrated because theoretically he can beat most characters that don't have some sort of immortal lifespan. And Goku doesn't actually have that. What people don't realize is he is strong, yes, and he's very powerful. He is not immortal. He's just very durable. But Shigaraki's quirk is almost like a patch note, if you know what I mean, where he can get around most durabilities and just kill people without even having to lay a hand on them now. Like, current Shigaraki can beat any form of Goku that wants to go for any physical attacks. If they know what he has, then sure, they have a very good chance of beating him. But if they're going in completely blind to each other's abilities, Shigaraki knows that he can beat anyone without touching them, whereas Goku believes that he wants to have the fight first and then result to the more powerful attacks later, which is a mindset that is not going to work against Shigaraki. And Goku doesn't just fly all the time in his fights. Sure, he will beat the living shit out of Shigaraki for a good bit, but eventually Shigaraki's going to decay his damn arm.
Yeah.
Or possibly the rest of his entire body. If he gets all 5 fingers on Goku, which is hard, but don't get me wrong, it's not going to be an easy fight, but he will put that man in the ground.
Honestly, the reason why I kind of have to agree with you on that is because if you look at Shigaraki as a character himself, he is human. Let's be honest. Everybody in My Hero is a human. And yes, Goku is a Saiyan, but also keep in mind how fast he is. Shigaraki couldn't even keep up with Aizawa in their first encounter. Aizawa was running laps around this man. You seriously think a guy that can teleport and can move faster than the Flash is going to let somebody like Shigaraki put hands on him?
Yes, but at the same time, you got to remember, Goku... Okay, let me put it this way. Don't get me wrong. First form Shigaraki, not doing shit to Goku. He's very much not able to. But current Shigaraki and any form of Goku prior to, let's say, Super Saiyan... I'd say Super Saiyan God, probably. Is probably going to have a bit of a tough time because he's not going... No form of Shigaraki is beating UI. Just because UI gives him an ability to basically detect danger, almost like a spider sense of sorts.
Yeah.
And he's able to dodge things so fast, and he wouldn't be able to lay a hand on him. But current manga Shigaraki, and even like the thing about current manga Shigaraki is he's a cheat code. He's not strong. What he is he's got a loophole that lets him do stuff.
To Kirishima's point, he goes, current manga Shigaraki ain't even human anymore.
Yeah, current manga Shigaraki's an abomination type level monster.
I haven't gotten that far into the actual manga. I'm only on volume 37, and I've been waiting.
Oh, he's a menace.
Yeah, from what people have been telling me, yes, I know. But I'm just saying that I'm not fully caught up. I'm only up to number 37, waiting for 38 to drop.
But if we're talking Goku prior to UI, if he sees Shigaraki, and it's like he doesn't see a power level of above maybe 1,000. No, it wouldn't even be above 1,000. I don't know how power levels work in Dragon Ball. They're really fucking stupid. But
yeah, we don't bother with power levels anymore.
He would not take Shigaraki very seriously. And I do mean that. He would not take him as seriously as a threat. He would try and go in base form or maybe one of his other forms, but he'd go in hand to hand because he wouldn't feel the need to use something like a Ki Blast or something like fucking Kamehameha.
Yeah, I could see that. Like, it
is very dependent on the form of Goku you give him in the form of Shigaraki. But I do think there's a few situations where Shigaraki will beat Goku.
I don't think it's more about the forms. I think it's about Goku's mindset going into the fight. Because let's think of, in canon, if we were to take, you know what, we're going to go with the only Goku that matters. We're going to go with End of Z Goku, okay? If we take that Goku, the one that just killed Majin Buu, and he has the power of Super Saiyan 3 and all that, Goku would go into the fight in his base form, like you said. He would take his fighting stance, and he would look at Shigaraki, sense his ki, which is like sort of there, but kind of not really, because, you know, he doesn't exist in the My Hero. But for argument's sake, let's say he's able to sense something. Goku thinking, oh, this guy's holding back. Let me go test the waters. He would go in with a right hand swing. Shigaraki would probably just dodge like Spider-Man, you know, down to the ground, like whoop. Oh no, more like Neo from the Matrix. Dodge like that, and then go in for the kill by grabbing him. In that moment, I could kind of see Shigaraki grabbing him, but also at the same time,
the other thing you have to remember is that his like current form is no longer just decay. He has a plethora of other quirks within him, as well as the fact that All For One has kind of given him this bodily upgrade as well.
Yeah.
So there's so much shit that kind of stops Goku in certain forms from winning that fight.
Yeah, but let's be honest. Even if it wasn't Goku, let's go with the second strongest. Well, I mean, technically,
Vegeta beats Shigaraki way more.
We got to go with the fourth strongest. Sorry, we got to go with Vegeta. Second strongest is technically Gohan. His beast form.
I have Vegeta above Gohan, honestly.
Yeah.
No, I would say the thing is, like, Vegeta takes fights way more seriously. He would just end it quickly. So he would win the situation on a lot higher win rate.
Like when he killed Ginyu in Taguma's body during the Resurrection F story. Like, he didn't even give this man a chance to fight. He just ki blast him into oblivion. That's what he would do. Vegeta would show up to the fight. Look at Shigaraki, pathetic peasants. Big Bang attack. Who's next?
Yeah, because like Goku likes to give people a chance. He likes to give them the chance, and that ends up fucking him over in a lot of situations. Cough, cough, sensu bean to sell. But the thing is, he actively takes fights like very lightheartedly, even if they are detrimental to his health. Whereas Vegeta is quick to kill, quick to end the fight quicker. If he sees a threat, he wants it gone.
Which is actually hilarious.
Yeah.
Which is actually kind of hilarious because it used to be a time where it was the other way around. Goku would want to end the fights quickly, and Vegeta would be the one that would drag them out. Now they've completely reversed the mindsets. Goku's like, oh, you're kind of strong. Let's keep this going for 40 episodes. Vegeta, give me my Ultra Ego. Where is my Ultra Ego? I need to kill this man. Where is my Ultra Ego?
Yeah, in all honesty, like, I don't think that the My Hero verse scales to the Dragon Ball verse in any way. But the thing about certain characters is they have hacks that kind of, they do certain things for them. Like, let's be honest, Gojo himself is not strong physically. He just has hacks that makes him able to resist almost every other anime versus attacks.
Which, another poorly written villain, but go on.
Gojo?
Wait. Oh, sorry, I was thinking of Dio from JoJo.
I was about to say, like, Gojo's not a villain. He's a bit of
My
an asshole
bad.
at times.
My bad. I got my animes mixed up. It happens.
Dude, I can't watch JoJo's. I don't know what it is about it.
It's the art
but
style. It's the art style.
I don't know. I think it's the animation for me specifically. I just don't rock with it that much.
I don't really like JoJo to begin with. I know a lot of people love the show and that the story is good, but it's like the art style throws me off. Everybody looks the same.
Yeah.
The women look like dudes. Which one's JoJo? Which one's Dio?
I've never heard a more accurate statement in my life about JoJo's.
You know, because let's be honest, JoJo is also one of those shows that kind of weirds me out because there was that one episode where the dude was watching his own mother in the shower and he's like, hot dang, I'm gonna get some of that.
Yeah, JoJo's for me is like it's I see its merits to certain people, but I just don't see it for myself. I don't have any interest in that.
I really don't either. Like I said, it's the art style. It throws you off. Everybody has like the Giga Chad face for no reason.
Yeah, I have never understood that. Everyone looks like they've been part of a fucking Andrew Tate edit.
Right? And it's like, why? Even the women look like that. Like, nah, man. Like, go home. You're drunk. You're too full on testosterone. You know, but
Dude.
you know, to your point, I do. There are certain animes that I like to see. Like, how would they blend together if they were to meet or at least crossed over? Like,
dude,
I know a lot of people. Like, let me just get this point across because a lot of people actually sleep on this fight. Okay, Goku in any anime, depending on the circumstances, Goku would basically body the entire universe, or he would just obliterate it with little to no effort. One anime that I feel Goku would lose in because of his mentality is Death Note. Now, I know what you're going to say. They're all humans. What the hell can they do? The Death Note can kill Goku.
Technically, no. Well, I mean, it depends. If you're just bringing Goku over, it's not likely because Goku's not his actual given name. Remember, it's Kakarot. He doesn't call himself Kakarot to anyone. It's only Vegeta that actually calls him out for being Kakarot. So in the Death Note verse, Light's going to put Goku in the Death Note. Nothing's going to happen.
But that's
because it's an alias, and the aliases don't get put into the Death Note.
That's the thing, though. Goku, Son Goku is his name, even if it's just his Earth name. Because think about that for a second. Earth name. He acknowledges the name Son Goku as his name. You call him Goku, he responds. In the Dragon Ball manga, you call him Son, which is his last name, Son. He responds. Bulma only calls Goku Son. That's it. She never.
Yes, but you also have to remember this. L in Death Note is called L, but Light Yagami can't put L in the Death Note because that's just an alias. He goes by L. Everyone calls him L. He responds to the name L, but it's not his actual name. His real name was something Lawlet. But Goku would come in, not really ever call himself Kakarot, because I don't think Goku ever has in any form of Dragon Ball. Brain Freak, correct me if I'm wrong on that. But I believe he's never called himself Kakarot. Only Vegeta has. So if you only bring Goku, then no, Light cannot kill Goku. But if you bring other characters who call him Kakarot, then you might have a shot. But I think you need the full name, and we don't actually know Goku's last name in terms of what the Saiyans called it.
Saiyans don't have last names.
Oh, then it would just be Kakarot.
Yeah, but the thing is, Goku has called himself Kakarot once. During the end of the Broly movie, when he's getting ready to teleport away, Chi-Light goes, "Who are you?" "Oh, me? My name's Kakarot." And then end of the movie.
Yeah, but I feel like that's one instance in a single movie that I feel like didn't make a lot of sense, in all honesty.
I think it was supposed to be a nod to the original Broly movies, where whenever Broly hears the name Kakarot, he goes into a rage. But to sidetrack for one moment, because there's a couple of things we skipped over that we need to go back to. One thing, Kirishima, thoughts on Danmachi?
I don't know what that is off the top of my head. Let me quickly do.
Is it wrong to pick up girls in a dungeon?
Oh.
Yeah, Danmachi is the actual official name for it, but the English...
Go back and tab so that's on the screen. I gotta be honest. Harems, not a huge fan for most animes. I haven't seen that one specifically. But I typically don't like harems it's more of a personal thing and like a belief system I have that I don't typically like multi-ships.
Well, the thing
That's why I avoid doing them.
From the one thing that I was explained about this show, yes, it's a harem anime, but not in the way you expect, because the MC himself isn't trying to build a harem or have multiple girlfriends. It's basically he's going into a dungeon and he's trying to basically think Indiana Jones style, where he's going in, getting treasure, and then bringing it back for the rewards. But the problem is that as he's going through, there are multiple women that were either abandoned by their party or they got lost or whatever, and then he picks them up to bring them back home. And then because of that, they end up developing romantic feelings for him. It's one of those things of like, he has a harem, and he's completely oblivious to the fact that multiple women are down bad for him. He doesn't even know that they are.
I still don't, even like in that situation, I don't know what it is about the harems for me. I don't enjoy reading them, don't enjoy writing them, none of that, to be honest with you.
I think it's because of the fact that it's all poorly conceptualized with the whole, if you're going to have multiple women going after one guy, how do you give each one enough screen time that makes you go, he should be with this person, he should be with that person?
But it's not even just that, it's the fact that they're so, like in every harem anime, it's almost that they're too willing to accept that someone else is going to also share that limelight. And I don't think that's a healthy relationship anything.
Yeah.
But in my opinion, that's just my opinion on harems. I don't typically enjoy watching them. Typically, if I do watch an anime with a harem, it's not for the harem specifically.
Yeah, honestly, one anime that actually I feel does harems right, but the ending was completely okay. You just spat in my face. Was the quintessential quintuplets?
I've watched that show. I hated the ending because, like,
yeah,
I don't remember which of them I was rooting for, but it was the fuck, which one was it? This is the problem when you have 5 anime characters that look the exact fucking same.
Nino, Futaba, Miku.
I know polygamy exists, but I don't personally rock with it. I don't judge people for what they choose to do. It's just not Mr. Okay?
Yeah. No, I hear you.
And that's why, like, I know a lot of people constantly request on, like, YouTube, on my YouTube videos or on my polls whenever I give ship, like, polls. Because I typically like to give people the choice. When people, like, ask me to do multi-ships, I won't ever do a multi-ship story again. I've done 2 across my entire channel. One was my Xenoblade Deku, which that one has a variety of reasons why I will never return to that series, which sucks because I love Xenoblade. But the name Herlin Liko pops up a lot in my head when I remember that one.
You could also do an entirely different Xenoblade Deku, where just have him go with one woman and stick with it. You know?
Yeah, but I think my mind is too stained from that one.
Yeah.
You know who Herlin Liko is, right?
Not really.
You untainted soul. That man was a pain in the ass to so many text-tubers for so long.
Who?
Herlin Liko.
No, I do know who that is. Oh God. Yeah, that was the guy that was constantly saying add Momo to the ship.
Yeah. And
Bro, I have over 300 stories on my freaking channel, and at least 280 of them are add Momo. And one story was Momo being the ship. Add Momo to the ship. He's already...
I know. That was the main reason why I actually ended the Xenoblade Deku series. It was multiple reasons, but that was one of the major reasons, was just him on every single video. Even like at the time, outside of just Xenoblade Deku videos, he would even comment on other videos. Hey, make Xenoblade Deku Izumomo. Hey, make Xenoblade Izumomo. It was on almost every video, to the point where I felt almost harassed by it. And I just decided, you know what? I'm fucking ending the series as quickly as I can. I
don't think it was me, or maybe what I said was kind of contribute to it. Like he would always be on any video, any community post. It don't matter. If I did something, he was there and would honestly spam the whole Izumomo thing. Eventually I was like, dude, I've already done Izumomo. I don't like reusing ships for multiple stories, you know? I want to give every ship its own story so that it's unique. That way nothing feels repetitive or, oh, I've already seen this in that other story. It feels already done. But it is so hard. Anyways, so, thoughts.
Yeah.
I had told him that Izumomo was already done. That's my Yakuza Deku story. She's the ship. That's actually what made him find my channel, was because it was an Izumomo story and he wanted more of that story. I understand that some people love Izumomo, even though, let's be honest, Momo just looks like an NTRE harem chick, a basic bitch. I said it, okay?
And
but
no chill.
I said it, man. But my main point is, I can understand you having your own favorite ship. Me personally, Izu Ocho, I feel like a lot of people keep saying it's not going to be canon. It's freaking canon, okay? Get over it.
But no, I agree with you on that sentiment. My problem is, like, I think a lot of the, like, TechTuber community has been, like, Izumomo'd out, if you know what I mean. Because we've all been either harassed by her and Liko, or we've had some poll that we put up that was, like, so skewed to Izumomo's favor that it was ridiculous.
Ain't that the truth? That's why I haven't even done anything Izumomo related, and that's kind of why I haven't done Yakuza Deku Origins of the Family yet, because that's supposed to explain how Izuku took control of the world, and it is an Izumomo story, and I'm terrified of writing it because I'm tired of the Izumomo fan base. But back to my original point. So, the whole Izumomo thing, I told him Izumomo was Yakuza Deku and that I don't like reusing ships. I will do more Izumomo stories in the future. Just give some other ships the time to shine. He basically flat out said that Izumomo is his only ship that he likes and he doesn't want anything else. He only wants those types of stories. Okay, to your point, if you like Izumomo so much, do it yourself. Next thing I know, the dude completely vanished. And if you click his name, he has an entire channel of nothing but Izumomo now. Like,
yeah, I think he changed his YouTube name, and like me and Brain Free, it wasn't Brain Free, it was me and someone else. I can't remember who it was. We were looking over the channel and we were like, this man has only done Izumomo and he's reviewing other channels. And he had like a couple reviews that were basically just him saying like, oh, this channel doesn't do enough Izumomo and shit. And I was just like floored by that shit. Like,
I get your point, and it's just like everybody has their ships that they like. Some ships that work, some ships that don't, some ships that make you go, "What the hell did I just watch?"
And I do agree, Brain Free. I probably shouldn't give choice because it does tend to not go my way. But I will also say I do like giving choice because it gives you guys a chance to actually feel invested in a project that I'm doing if you know that it's going to be something you'd like to watch. If you see a poll that has like options that you want to see happen, the vote towards it makes it so I know what people want, what people don't want. It helps give me it's almost like an intelligence gathering, if you know what I mean. But no, I don't enjoy doing multi-ships. I think the only ones I have done was Xenoblade, as I mentioned before, and Carnage Deku. Which, honestly, even in that, Carnage Deku was more so because it was convenient to the plot. Because I wanted to have a reason for Midnight to basically go off and leave Aizawa to go be with Izuku, and I thought romance would be the best way to handle that. But I also wanted to make Curious the ship, because it was meant to be interview becomes part of the crew.
Right.
But that is one of the only situations where I think a multi-ship has worked in my eyes.
For me in general, it's just writing multi-ships is one of the hardest things to do. Because how do you make it unique and how do you make the character shine,
Yeah, exactly.
Without letting, like, okay, let's say, okay, I'm just gonna, okay.
Completely understand, Brain Free.
Yeah, Izuku, Midnight, Ochako, Mina. Okay, let's say that's the multi-ship. How do you write it where each ship, Izumina, how do you write Izumina in a compelling way where you want people to want Mina to win over Ochako, but then you have the diehard fans that just want Midnight to win, So
yeah,
how do you write it? It's a pain.
The other thing is, it's about the personality that you give this version of Deku. If you make him into the same canon Deku, he's not got the like very vibrant nature that is needed for it to work with Midnight or Mina. But if you want to go with the very sort of flamboyant or boisterous characteristic that you see some Dekus into, it doesn't work with Ochako because she's more of a lighthearted, more simple character to work with. It's almost like if you want to shape the story, but you haven't got the tools to do so if the characters conflict.
Exactly. That's why if you're going to write like a multi-ship story, you got to change Izuku's personality to fit how it would work bounce off of who's in the ship. Like, the only actual 2 harem stories that I actually did that I felt were, I'm not gonna lie, it could have done some work, but for my first attempt at harem stuff, I thought was pretty decent. It was Persona Deku and Vigilante Deku. For Vigilante, it was Izuku, Mirko, Mandalay, and Lady Nagant. And the reason how this shit happened was in my headcanon. Okay, my headcanon is this: if you're somebody with an animal quirk, you kind of have animal urges, if you know what I mean.
I know what you mean, and
the whole. Can I say what I want to say? I'm gonna write it to you.
Just keep it minimalistic.
Hold on. Can I say that?
Oh yeah, you can say that. It's not.
All right. So if you're somebody with an animal quirk, I kind of have the mindset of you're gonna go into heat like animals do. So the way I wrote it was, Izuku and Mirko were already like feeling each other out to be romantically involved. She went into heat. He wasn't around. Mandalay was right there, and just like in the animal kingdom, if you mate with somebody, you kind of mate with them for life. So wrong place, right time for Mandalay, and then Izuku just had to deal with both of them at once.
I feel like Mandalay didn't actually have an animal quirk though. What she had was a psychic quirk.
Mirko.
Oh, Mirko. I thought you said Mandalay for a second.
Yeah, no, well, yeah, Mandalay too, but she's more cat based,
but she's not actually an animal. That's just a costume.
Well, true, but my headcanon is she's a cat girl, and I will not be swayed otherwise.
You know what? I'll concede on that. In all honesty, yeah, multi-ships and are something I don't do anymore. I can't enjoy doing them. The other story I can't do is overpowered Deku, because I don't know how to back myself out of a corner with that story. When I write a story, I have a solid plan for the beginning, middle, and end. And if I make an overpowered Deku, I have no middle. I just have beginning and end. And sometimes honestly, I barely have an end.
Honestly, that's kind of why it's actually good, because I think we've entered the realm of now we're going to talk future stories and projects and what we are going to do and what we're not going to do. So, let me just for a second back to the whole harem aspect before we continue. Persona Deku, I feel like, is the only one that was different from the whole multi-ship thing, because I made him oblivious. The dude has a harem of 8 women, and he doesn't even know that they like him like that.
Yeah. I'm going to be perfectly honest. I don't think obliviousness changes anything in my eyes. I mean, it's still a harem. I don't know.
Yeah.
Continue.
That's what I'm saying. Like, what you could do, if I know you said you're not ever going to do multi-ships again, but what you could do is you could have an entire story where Izuku has all these women that are after him, but because of his oblivious nature, instead of him picking one to be with, what if we did like a matchmaker Deku, where all these women are after him, and he finds other people for them to be with since he doesn't want any of them?
Now, that is a story I could actually see working, but I don't know. Hiroshima wrote, I write stories as I go in with a villain and a plot in mind, but no idea how to get to that plot. I understand that completely. So I've had I think every single text tuber has at least one story where they came into it with a plan that fell apart so fast for one reason or another.
Oh God, ain't that the truth? My entire channel's existence is that in the
I have like 16 different stories at least that just don't have an ending to them.
Ain't that the truth, man? Same here, but God. I just remember 2 things. Brain Free was the one that asked, how do you feel about isekai animes? You gave your answer. Mine was, I haven't watched enough. Kirishima had asked, how do we feel about Danmachi? You gave your opinion. My answer is, I haven't actually watched Danmachi yet. It's on my watch list, but I haven't actually done it. There was another question that somebody asked that I can't remember what it was, but I can't really remember. Literally every story. Yeah, it's basically, but
I think Brain Free asked about Kill la Kill.
Kill la Kill. No, he said if you want an anime that's nothing but fan service, that would be Kill la Kill.
Yeah, I don't actually know what Kill la Kill is.
That's dude.
That's one of the few I haven't watched yet.
I have not watched it, but the main character literally runs around in a sailor suit that's nothing but a string bikini.
So it's like the chick from Gurren Lagann.
It's skimpier than that.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm gonna not look up any more about that just so that I don't get my channel taken down.
I'll send you a GIF on your Discord.
Fair enough, but no, like the anime, like from the posters, looks very similar to an art style of an anime I watched a while ago. I don't know what it was, like what the name was, but it was basically this guy, the delinquent, basically gets sent to an island to go and work on his calligraphy. Mm-hmm. But he kind of builds a family over there. I can't remember what the anime name was.
Right. Check your Discord. I sent you the GIF.
Yeah, I just saw it. I'm just not commenting on it at the time. I will say, God damn.
Right. Yeah. And to Kirishima's point, the less clothes she has, the more powerful she becomes. Because
she's like a different version of the guy from DxD.
No lie, this is literally her first form. This isn't even her final form.
Oh, good God.
Her final form is her entire body basically pulling a golden Frieza.
Yeah, I don't know why, but when I saw Braintree put Kill La Kill, I thought he put a Kamega Kill, and I was like, oh, I'm going to delve into some trauma soon with that.
The manga's better. Probably.
I don't think I could even handle the manga. The amount of issues that fucking anime gave me, because I watched that anime recommended to me by Raiko, and I will never forgive him for that. I will at Raiko in this fucking call and give him a timestamp that he needs to watch. You motherfucker, you scarred me for life with some of that shit.
No, like, Akame got killed. I liked it for what it was. It was actually unique to see a dark story, a dark hero story. You know,
but then I watched Jujutsu Kaisen and realized that there was better.
I haven't watched it.
I won't spoil it, but good God, if you like Akame got killed, watch Jujutsu Kaisen.
A lot of people say read the manga of Jujutsu since the manga's better.
The manga is barely any different than the anime, in my personal opinion.
Nah, from what I've heard, there's a couple of people that die in the anime that are still alive in the manga.
I think it was the first to do that, but like I said, JJK also did that, Kiri.
Yeah.
No, in all honesty, I will say, the most tragic death in anime for me that I've ever watched wasn't in any sort of action anime. If any of you have ever heard of the anime, Your Lie in April, I was fucking bawling my eyes out to that shit.
I haven't. Because
that was a death that came out of left field.
Mm.
It's this open music anime, and it was so well done. But the last 3 episodes of that anime fucking broke me. It had me in the fetal position for at least a good 30 minutes.
Yeah.
No anime's done that to me except maybe Gurren Lagann.
Yeah, to Kirishima's point, the manga is different for Akame ga Kill compared to the anime. The ending is completely different.
Okay, I'll have to... I'm probably not going to check out the manga, because I don't typically read manga unless it's One Piece, My Hero, Jujutsu Kaisen, or Record of Ragnarok.
The easiest way to tell you is, you remember in Akame ga Kill when Tetsuo died with Death?
Yes.
Yeah, that doesn't happen in the manga.
Really?
Yeah, what happens is Tatsuo turns into a giant dragon.
Okay, that feels random.
And you know the girl with the pink outfit that was slowly developing feelings for him? Yeah, he ends up marrying her and they have kids.
Oh, so basically the anime just said, fuck your life.
Yes.
Oh, damn. I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah, that's why I say some manga is better than the anime, because by the time Akame ga Kill got to that point, right when Tetsuo was going to turn into a dragon, the anime was already caught up and the manga was still ongoing. It was 5 volumes out from finishing, so they basically pulled a Fullmetal Alchemist, where the story went completely differently compared to Full Alchemist Brotherhood.
But I'm going to be honest, Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood is better than Fullmetal Alchemist. No question in my mind.
And what's funny is I've never seen either one.
Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood is the peak of what an anime should be, because it has a perfect balance of every single part of anime that you like. It has a good amount of romance, a good amount of action, comedy, like actual sad death scenes, it balances everything, and it has a power system that makes sense. It is so basic that even a toddler can understand it. It is, when I say like you want to watch a 10 out of 10 perfect anime, that is it. That is the only 10 out of 10 really well-rounded anime, in my opinion.
Right. A lot of people say that, but like I said, I can't get into it. For me, it's like a slow burn where like you have to slowly get into it. Me, if you don't have me within like the first 3 or 5 episodes, I'm out.
Dude, you have to get past that, because honestly, until you see Führer Bradley, you will not know why this anime is so damn good. Führer Bradley is one of the best villains. Tell me any anime character that's not like some multiversal threat that can go toe to toe with a tank and win.
Franklin Richards.
I don't actually know who that is.
He's from the Fantastic Four. He's the son of Reed Richards and Susan.
That is not an anime.
You didn't say anime. You said name a character.
So name an anime character, then, smartass.
Shinra Bancho Man from Fire Force.
He's not a bad. I mean, yeah, fair. But at the same time, I did say someone who's not like universal, and if you've seen the manga,
yeah, Fire Force. I mean, Shinra Bancho Man from Fire Force is technically a universal threat. The man literally created the concept of death and made him a god. I love how Fire
He also
Force
is the reason Soul Eater as an anime exists.
Right? As soon as I saw that last page, I was like, wait, Fire Force is a prequel to Soul Eater?
I didn't realize it either. I was like, wait, the fuck? I watched Soul Eater before I watched Fire Force was the thing.
Right?
And I was like, wait, no fucking way. This is how it works.
Yeah, Fire Force is apparently the prequel to Soul Eater. And I was like, that's how you tie them in together. Because
and I was like, you know what? Fair enough. It's a fucking well done to them.
Godzilla.
Godzilla can't. Okay, well, I guess he's not universal. Yeah, fair enough. I'll concede. But to be fair, this man went up a tank and got a tank to start backing the fuck up. Tanks don't back the fuck up. He got a tank to defy the laws of physics and run the fuck away so that he could fucking slash it with a sword. You don't break a tank with a sword.
Oh wait, what about the Lion's Sin of Pride from Seven Deadly Sins?
Okay, we are not.
Who decided that?
Okay, name me a human character that can go toe to toe with a fucking tank. Then
Krillin, Yamcha, Tien,
they're superhuman.
You said human. You didn't specify anything else. And pretty much everybody from My Hero Academia.
I hate you.
I can feel you taking off the headset that it was personal.
I hate this.
Don't come at me if you're not going to take the punches. I will come at you swinging, just like in the thumbnail.
Motherfucker, I will beat your ass.
Don't threaten me with a good time.
Nah, in all honesty, I just think Führer Bradley is an absolute menace to society, because this man, he 1v1'd an army just better than Madara did, in my opinion. But that's for other people to get on my case about.
Oh, wait. I completely forgot another character. Orihime, Tatsumi.
I will fucking end you. Shut the fuck up.
You said human. They are 100% human.
I hate you so damn much.
Kenshin from Rurouni Kenshin?
I get it. Fuck's sake. You can have shit in this conversation. Nah, in all honesty, I think the reason that Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood works so well is because it is literally the perfect blend of everything. Because, like, it has tropes from every other anime. It has, like, so much different mixed into it, but it works better than most of them do.
Right. Not only that, it actually follows what the creator intended, start to finish.
Yeah.
Whereas in the original Fullmetal Alchemist, they did their own thing like halfway through. The creator was like, "Yeah, guys, this ain't it. This ain't it. You tried cooking and you burnt it.
Yeah, I don't acknowledge the original Full Metal Alchemist's existence anymore.
What's actually funny is you can't even watch it anywhere. Like, if you go to streaming services, you'll find Brotherhood, but you won't find the other one.
I think I actually have, I'll show you my website that I use for anime. I'm pretty sure it's on there.
Oh, all right.
I'm being serious. Like, I don't know for sure, but I can show you after, and I think it is.
All right, no worries.
But yeah, honestly, I think with if you want a perfect anime that has a good enough blend of each, it doesn't go over the top with any of the elements, but it does do them each particularly well.
Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood and Fairy Tail.
Yeah, I think that those two are probably some, because like I love One Piece and I love Naruto. I don't love Naruto, but I respect Naruto. I love Bleach.
You tolerate it.
I love Dragon Ball before the Cell arc ended, but all of them have at least one thing that kind of prevents them from being a 10 out of 10 anime. Dragon Ball being the existence of half of its series.
Yeah, and for Bleach, it's Aizen being a terribly written villain.
I will fight you on this damn hill. You keep bringing this up. He is not a bad villain.
He's totally a bad villain, and we even talked about this off stream. Like you said, we would talk about this during the stream, so we're going to talk about it right now. Then fight me. Fight me. Come on, my hands are up. My hands are up. Left hand. Right
my hands are up. Bring it on.
Bring it on. Okay, so for those that are Bleach fans, we won't have to go too much into Aizen. For people that are not Bleach fans, we're going to be here for like 6 hours explaining why Aizen is a terribly written villain and Thanos is actually better, even though Thanos is trash.
Oh, you did not just say that.
Yeah, I'll set it. Okay.
If you're talking MCU Thanos, I can at least mildly understand why you would say he's a bad villain.
Nope,
but comics Thanos is petty as shit, and he is not to be fucked with. He wants to fuck death.
Okay.
How many characters you know want to fuck the literal embodiment of death?
Deadpool, pretty much every single character from Bleach.
Bleach doesn't. No, the Bleach ones don't count because they're not really trying to fuck death.
No, but
Deadpool, I give you the props on because I remember what story you're talking about specifically. But but Bleach does not count. They don't want to do that with death.
No, I do. Have you seen some of the Bleach women? They're dead.
That is not the same fucking thing.
You said fuck death. I'm trying to fuck death.
I meant the literal embodiment of death.
Rukia.
You are playing with semantics, my friend, that do not work.
No, I don't care what anybody says. I am down bad for Yoruichi.
Oh, I'm not saying Bleach girls aren't the best. Don't get me wrong. Fucking Ron Geeko forever. Don't even test me on that.
Oh, Soul Eater. Everybody literally wants to get with death.
Except not really. They just want to become death.
Isn't that the same thing?
No, I'm talking like actually want to. Thanos literally killed half of existence because he wanted to give death the business.
Well, technically it was 90% in the comics.
Yeah, you know what I mean, though.
Yeah, no, I totally get what you mean. But my argument for Thanos is this, okay? He is the original simp that was down bad, okay? And keep in mind, we're talking about an era of Mistress Death where she was literally skeletons in a robe. She didn't even have skin. It was literally a skeleton in a robe.
But honestly, tell me after looking at the more recent iterations of her that Thanos did not invest right.
No, definitely not. Thanos is trash.
You have not seen some of the more recent iterations of her then, because she looks fine as shit.
I mean, has Marvel Comics actually been good in the last 5 years?
I mean, unless you're Spider-Man, yes.
No.
They have bullied Spider-Man to oblivion.
True, and they made him I can't say that word on stream, but you know what I mean.
Yeah,
basically he's the Will Smith now. He's Will Smith.
Oh, no, that's awful.
I said it.
Kirishima says, am I the only one who hasn't seen Dragon Ball, Naruto, and One Piece and doesn't really plan to? No, there's plenty of anime fans out there that just don't really have the want or need to watch it. I'd recommend at least giving each of them at least a bit of a shot, because I think each of them is good in their own way. But if it's not for you, I don't pressure people into it.
Yeah, unlike a lot of other people where they're like, "Oh, you got to give every single anime at least 300 episodes." Dude, just do it like this. Give each anime at least 6 episodes. If you're not invested by episode 6, then you're not going to get invested at all. So,
Yeah.
you don't have to waste too much of your time. Give it like 6 episodes.
Jumping back a few topics, Aizen is not that bad, and Thanos isn't either.
Terrible. He became a villain because he was bored. That's his
Okay,
ultimate end goal.
his ultimate end goal was, you know what? I can't even argue this anymore.
His ultimate, okay, fine. His true ultimate end goal was to replace the Soul King, who wasn't even introduced into the story yet by that point.
Okay, that is fair. He wasn't introduced into the story, but everyone knew there was some sort of higher power in that fucking arc. They knew that he was trying to go and replace someone. We just didn't know who until like 3 arcs later.
And then let's be honest, the Soul King did absolutely nothing.
Yeah, but when you're that omnipotent, do you really bother?
You got to do something to earn that omnipotence because the dude died in his sleep.
Yeah, fair. I'll give you that one.
And then the whole...
I'm not defending the Soul King here. I'm defending Aizen.
The reveal of Ukitake having the right arm of the Soul King in his body, which was causing his cough. What the hell was that?
Yeah, that was a bit weird.
And then you have Aizen over here. I will be the king of all in existence. Why are you doing this? I was bored.
Okay, and does it make him any different from any other villains in anime?
Yes!
I feel like you mastered the character unnecessarily.
No, because legit, like, Kirishima Taxi Stories will attest to this, that I have even told him myself, that the biggest villains I have a problem with are the ones that are just so boring once their origin is revealed. I absolutely loved Shigaraki when we first saw him as just the guy that hated All Might. When it was revealed that he became a villain because Daddy hit me, I was like, get the fuck out of here. That's
okay, that is a mass oversimplification. He killed his whole family on accident.
Because his dad
was raised up to be a murder machine. He was given such a horrible upbringing.
Him.
Oh,
just like Dabi. Dabi and Shigaraki were cool before we learned who they truly were. Once we did, I was like, wow, you guys are just literally...
Okay, you can't tell me you didn't see Toya Todoroki coming from like a mile away.
I saw it the moment Dabi showed up because it was literally the
He's like one of 3 fire users in the series, and the other one is
no. The second they introduced Dabi was after the sports festival, right? You have Bakugo with the medallion, Shoto taking 2nd place, and Tokoyami taking 3rd. Then it transitions into Dabi joining the League of Villains, and it's like he's Shoto's brother. He's Shoto's brother. Literally, It's one panel over.
So you can't say it's like Dabi's origins when we all knew who it was from the fucking get-go.
Exactly. And I'm saying, okay, that we knew his origins because of the fact that it was obviously he was a Todoroki. It was just, why is he evil right now? Like, what happened? Yeah, he got beat.
His father was an abusive dick.
Exactly. But I'm saying at the time we didn't know that because they only ever showed him beating Shoto, nobody else.
You think he's just going to specifically beat one fucking child?
Yes, because he never touched the other ones. Remember when Shoto had his flashback and his siblings were all playing together and never said, don't bother with them, they're beneath you. My mindset went with, wait, so Toya...
So we're saying that it's just above the man who put his wife in a mental institute, caused her to burn her own son with a fucking kettle, that he ruined his own family. Caused Toya to fucking run off, that it was so above him to hate his other children.
Rebirth Shoto of her own accord. She had a mental breakdown. Endeavor didn't give her a boiling pot of water and said, burn our kid. Endeavor did not give her the boiling water and said, burn him. Burn our kid. He needs to...
I never said that. What I said is that he's the reason she threw it at him. She was in pain. She was in mental distress because of what he had done to her.
All right, but I misheard you. I thought you said he forced her. I heard... That's what I've said. But my thing is, okay, I don't like poorly written villains. I think they are some of the worst monumental waste of time in existence.
And I agree completely. Frieza is a terrible villain.
Of course Frieza's a terrible villain. He's just a freaking racist. And the embodiment of what it means to be a space.
Uncle Ruckus basically has the same motivation.
Yeah, true. Even though he's actually kind of funny.
Yeah, Uncle Ruckus is an absolute icon.
Yeah, but my point is, when it comes to Thanos being a villain, I find him incredibly boring, okay? For two reasons. Number one, he's the ultimate simp down bad for a freaking skeleton. And number two, my guy, in a comic storyline, you got killed by Hawkeye.
Yeah, if you get killed by Hawkeye, you do get to lose points in terms of coolness.
Exactly.
And I think he also got beat by Squirrel Girl in one iteration.
Beat, killed, revived, and obliterated. Yeah, in that order. By Squirrel Girl.
Yeah, but to be fair, these are alternate timelines. Let's not forget that there's also the fucking canon. What If series that fucking despises Thanos. I would ask one question though. Based on What If's logic, why is it so fucking hard for the heroes in the MCU to fucking kill Thanos? Because it is shown so many times throughout What If season 1 and 2 that it was so easy to kill this man.
Because, like I said, he's a poorly written villain.
No, I'm not even talking like, this isn't comics. This is specifically MCU. Because, like, everything that happens in What If
is a poorly written villain. MCU Thanos is even worse than comic Thanos.
Yes, but you've got to ask yourself at that point, if he's that badly written, how the fuck did the MCU struggle against him? You had Steve Rogers in his prime, Thor Odin's son.
Because, keep in mind, Infinity War happened off the heels of Civil War. The heroes were fractured. If they were grouped together like they were supposed to be, they could have taken Thanos right then and there. But, keep in mind, Thor went into space, Hulk vanished, the Avengers were fractured from Civil War, nobody trusted each other. Iron Man literally called Captain America in as a last resort because he was in space with Spider-Man.
I will also die on this hill. I never want to see the Guardians of the Galaxy in an Avengers movie again. Not because I don't like Guardians of the Galaxy. I love them. They are my favorite heroes in the MCU. But because they ruined the Guardians. They ruined the Guardians in any Avengers film they were a part of.
Yep.
Because Peter Quill became a joke, even though he's probably one of the best written characters in the Guardians of the Galaxy trilogy. Yep. They made Rocket they reverted Rocket back from learning his lessons in Guardians 2 to going back to his mistakes in fucking Avengers Infinity War. They fucking ruined Drax. They made him an idiot again, even though he was starting to get a bit more savvy with things in Guardians of the Galaxy 3. Or no, Guardians of the Galaxy 2. Yeah. They should never touch that franchise again with the Avengers hammer. It would fucking butcher them. And all the amazing work James Gunn did.
I wholeheartedly agree, and that's why, when you take certain characters and you try to transition them into the big screen, you gotta know how to write them. Because look at how they completely destroyed Kang as a character. And let's be honest, Kang was...
I feel like Kang has been on a downward spiral, especially with the Jonathan Majors shit.
Honestly, Kang was never that interesting to me. He's got 3 different origins that all tie into each other because why the hell not? And
See, I grew up with the Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes version of Kang, and that Kang
that is the only one that I will tolerate. All the other ones were just trash.
To be fair, Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes is far superior to the MCU, in my opinion.
It really
That show did so many characters better justice.
They did. Hulk was actually intelligent and just saying, instead of just, Hulk smash, which, let's be honest, I kind of feel like, when it comes to the Hulk constantly yelling Hulk smash, I've always had this subconscious thought that, I'm going to write it out to you.
Also, can I just say that Wasp in Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes was a baddie and absolutely perfectly written. So much better than MCU Wasp. MCU Wasp, I don't dislike the actress, but she didn't bring any sort of emotion into that role.
She really didn't. Yeah, check this out. That is my headcanon for Hulk. Every incarnation ever. That is just my...
God damn it, man. Get your mind out together. No, I do agree that, Hulk in that show was the best version of Hulk we've ever received.
True.
Plus, it was the best version of Thor, the best version of Wasp, a pretty decent version of Iron Man. So, I do think RDJ is too iconic as Iron Man to really...
True, except Earth's Mightiest Heroes came out before the actual Avengers movie.
I know, but I'm saying, comparatively to the two, I preferred RDJ to Iron Man in that show. They're both amazing, but...
To Kirishima's question, I never actually watched Dr. Stone.
I watched the first season of it, and it was pretty good. I just kind of fell off after a while, because it spent maybe 3 episodes trying to make a bottle of cola. And it was just I got very tired of waiting for very minute things.
Well, look on the bright side. It took them 3 episodes to make Cola. It's been 1,000 episodes, and Luffy still hasn't found the One Piece.
Yeah, but I'll be damned if you call One Piece trash. Nah. In all honesty, like, I do think Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes is the best Marvel universe, in my opinion, because you have so many characters that are so much better written, and characters that you don't see in the spotlight.
Even Spider-Man and Wolverine even appeared in there, and I was so hyped when Spider-Man made his debut.
Because you actually get to see Captain America defending Spider-Man to J. Jonah Jameson, and you get Captain America, who's this pinnacle of purity, working alongside Spider-Man, who's also a pinnacle of purity. But you see like how J. Jonah Jameson frames things and how he makes it so badly against Spider-Man. And I loved seeing Captain America basically go to J. Jonah and basically say, "Look, this shit ain't right. You're fucking making a redaction right now."
Yep. I like in the comics how he made Jonah shave his poorly.
And the scrolls. The scrolls in that show were the best fucking iteration.
What I actually liked was the fact that Earth's Mightiest Heroes actually used other characters from other franchises in the Avengers show. The Fantastic Four made brief appearances. Granted, they weren't the focus, but they did cameos.
Yeah, you had a couple of X-Men, not too many, mind you, but you had a couple.
Yeah,
I think it was
Wolverine. Yeah, you had Wolverine. You had Molecule Man.
Yeah, but you also had characters that I think no one really remembers exist, like Luke Cage, Iron Fist. And they made like the best. They brought both versions of Ant-Man in. You had both the Hank Pym one and you had the Scott Lang one, and both were amazingly done.
I don't remember the Scott Lang one, but I do remember the first.
Hank Pym was. I think Hank Pym was only in the Ant-Man until season 3.
Oh, no, we're talking about the movie. I thought you meant the show. I was still talking about the show.
No, I'm still talking about the show. I'm talking about like Earth's Mightiest Heroes. It started off with Hank Pym as Ant-Man, but then in season 3, in an episode with Iron Fist, Iron Fist and Luke Cage, Hank Pym finds out that Scott Lang stole the suit to basically save his daughter.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that episode. It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a long time. I just started rewatching it recently, and can I say, they did an absolute phenomenal job with bringing in like the Norse pantheon side of things. When they brought in Odin and all the 9 realms and showed each of the Avengers like in different realms, that was so damn cool. You even had Iron Man with an Iron Man suit made of Uru, Thor's hammer.
That was awesome. What I honestly hate is I loved Earth's Mightiest Heroes. I hate what followed after it.
Oh yeah, Avengers Assembled, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was basically them taking the MCU characters and turning them into cartoon variations.
I couldn't watch that. It was very dull.
It completely undermined what the Mightiest Heroes did. And what's actually makes it even worse is that Avengers Assemble is the continuation of Earth's Mightiest Heroes.
And yet they have no...
They really don't know. Like, don't get me wrong. It's good if you go with the mindset of these are 2 separate different universes, 2 different takes on them, it works. But the moment you get that episode where the Avengers were going after Molecule Man's son, and they flash back to Earth's Mightiest Heroes and how Molecule Man almost killed them, the moment you get to that episode and you find out that they're the same universe, it completely ruins it. They're 2 different art styles. And then you have villains in Earth's Mightiest Heroes that are somehow weaker in Avengers Assemble. And in Avengers Assemble, like, okay, we already beat Red Skull in Mightiest Heroes.
Yeah.
But in Avengers Assemble, we've never met the Red Skull before, but it's the same universe.
So it was such a bad decision to make them connected. Like, if they were separate projects, maybe, but no, not connected. But I think the other thing that I liked about Earth's Mightiest Heroes was that the lineup was never so consistent, and that's what made it interesting. You didn't know which group you were going to follow for each episode,
right?
And you brought in characters like Black Panther. And I will say, Chadwick Boseman, amazing Black Panther. I prefer the one in Avengers: Earth's Mightiest Heroes.
I don't blame you. That voice was just so perfect for T'Challa.
And they give you duos that you don't expect to work. Like, you don't expect to see Black Panther and Hawkeye make such a compelling team.
Exactly. And honestly, that took me by surprise. I was actually kind of... When they did that, I was like, I want to see more of this.
Yeah. And, it was so cool to see so many villains that you don't see. I think they brought in Crimson Dynamo. Who the fuck knows that guy? And they made him cool.
Well, the reason why a lot of people don't know who Crimson Dynamo is because in the first no, not Avengers, the first Iron Man movie, they killed off the guy who was meant to become Crimson Dynamo.
Really?
Yeah, remember the villain of the first Iron Man movie? Yeah, in the comics, he's the one that Obaya Stane. He becomes Crimson Dynamo, but they killed him off in the first Iron Man movie.
Oh shit! That didn't clock with me.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, so that's why we're never actually going to get a Crimson Dynamo because the actor that was, like I said, they killed him off.
And I'll say this: MCU Loki is an absolute masterpiece, but the Loki in Avengers: Earth's Mightiest Heroes was just perfect.
I didn't like the horns. I didn't like the horns, but other than that, he was good.
I think the horns are necessary for Loki's character. Like, I think it's part of his costume, and I just think it works. But genuinely, his iteration of Loki being as cunning, as clever, and manipulative as he was, because like MCU Loki, he was a little bit manipulative, but more so just he got given very opportune moments to strike. Whereas this Loki built up those moments. He structured everything in place to build his master plan.
Yep.
And even when it fucked up, he had backup plans on backup plans. And like, they brought in so many cool like villains as well that no one really remembers, because you had Kang, you had the fucking Kree and Ronan the Accuser. And I know people will probably remember Ronan just because the Guardians of the Galaxy was a great film, but Ronan in that show was damn awesome.
He was actually better written in the show than he was the movie.
Yeah, but I still think that Guardians is still a 10 out of 10 film.
True. You know, here's honestly a question that I have for you, since you've watched the MCU and you've watched pretty much anything Marvel related. Do you feel that putting Captain Marvel into the MCU was the wrong choice over Nova?
I don't think Captain Marvel was the wrong choice. I believe Brie Larson was the wrong choice. Because
the way
I've seen Captain Marvel in Avengers: Earth's Mightiest Heroes in the comics. She is not a bad character. In Avengers: Earth's Mightiest Heroes, she's one of my favorite characters. Like, she's definitely like top 15.
That's the problem. That's the problem right there. The reason why she was better was because she was known as Miss Marvel instead of Captain Marvel at the time.
Yeah, but I think the reason for that was because Captain Marvel was kind of trademarked by Shazam for a little bit, and there was a bit of confusion with that, so that's why they went Miss Marvel. But they were initially planning to call her Captain Marvel, but there was Captain Marvel in it. There was a whole thing between Shazam and Captain Marvel that kind of got confusing.
Yeah, I feel like what they should have done with the whole Brie Larson situation, I'm not a fan of her, so we're not going to get all into that, but they should have brought in Captain Marvel instead of Marvel. Like, bring the Kree version of Captain Marvel in instead of the one we got. Now, the reason
I'm gonna be honest. I think Captain Marvel would have been good at the start of the film to like be a mentor to Captain Marvel. But my thing with that whole situation was that Captain Marvel would have been great if they gave her a personality. They gave her fuck all to work with. Like, they just told Brie Larson to be herself, and I don't think it was a very endearing trait to give her.
It really was.
Brie Larson is not an enjoyable actor to watch in anything she's in.
Exactly. What I honestly hate is the fact that when they released the first Captain Marvel movie, they sandwiched it between the two Avengers movies. Oh, if you want to know how Captain Marvel's going to play into Endgame, you need to watch the Captain Marvel movie. Guess what movie I didn't watch, and I still know who she was?
Yeah. To be honest, they built up the hype for Captain Marvel so much throughout all of the end credit scene in Infinity War, in her movie, and like towards the beginning of Endgame, they were also kind of hyping her up, like she was going around saving galaxies and shit. Then for her to come in to fight Thanos and get one-tapped.
No, she wasn't even one-tapped. She got Falcon punched out of the movie.
Yeah. And her relevance has just plummeted since. Like, no one was... When people ask, like, what happened to the Avengers after, everyone's like, oh, what happened to Captain America in the past? Oh, what happened to Thor after the events of Endgame? What happened to his depression arc?
What happened to Spider-Man?
Where did every one of these characters go? No one was asking, where's Captain Marvel? They just assumed she was fucking asleep in the fucking battlefield.
I assume she died, only to realize she has a part 2 movie out that bombed, thank God.
Yeah, if anyone was looking for a reason to not watch the Marvels, I'll summarize it for you. Shit.
Exactly. Although, let's be honest, the actress that plays Monica Rambeau is kind of hot, I'm not going to lie.
Monica Rambeau is probably the best part of that film.
Exactly, she's hot.
No, I tell a lie. I forget. Samuel L. Jackson and Nick Fury's also in it.
I lost all respect from him after the Captain Marvel movie.
I didn't.
I mean the Nick Fury. I mean the character of Nick Fury. I lost respect for Nick Fury.
The problem is Nick Fury has never really been associated too heavily with Captain Marvel. It was kind of a weird choice to do that, but they kind of also wanted to give Nick Fury a bit of backstory, I guess.
Yeah, what I honestly hate is in Captain America, the Winter Soldier. The last time I trusted somebody, it cost me an eye, and he lost his eye to a freaking alien cat.
Yeah, that was a huge fucking misfire with them. I think they were so desperate to try and give like one actor that people would actually want to watch in Captain Marvel, and Samuel L. Jackson's a fucking legend. So they decided to try and throw him in there. It did not do them well.
It didn't, no. But what I mean by a missed opportunity is if you look at the world buildup that they did for Guardians of the Galaxy 1 and 2, the Nova Corps was the universe's space police, right? And if you look at the comics, they all use the Nova Force. Now, keep in mind, at the start of Infinity War, Thanos had the Power Stone because he invaded the Nova Corps and killed everybody to take the stone. What they should have done, and it would have been so much better, is they should have had one Nova Corps member survive that was channeling the totality power of the Nova Corps. Instead of the power being divided by like 1,000 different members, it's just one person with a power of 1,000 warriors and more.
Yeah, but I think at the time they were kind of leaning away from Nova, and they were trying to go towards Adam Warlock, because that was what the plan was initially with Guardians 2. They had I think James Gunn stated that he had plans for Adam Warlock in the actual film, but because of the whole directing thing where he got fired, rehired, that back and forth, there was a bit of a delay on his plans for what he was going to do with Adam Warlock. So it got delayed over to Guardians 3, which I still love the interpretation of Adam Warlock. Great job. But I think that was what they were trying to do with the Soul Stone. But at the same time, they also had Vision with a stone in his head. So it was it was a very mixed. It was a mixed problem, and adding Nova into the mix, because he's that would be their third cosmic hero that they've revealed in 1 year, because it would have been Nova, Adam Warlock, and Captain Marvel all at once, and I think it would have been a mess.
But that's what I mean by missed opportunity. Instead of it being Captain Marvel, replace Captain Marvel with Nova, and it would have worked so much better.
Yeah, and I agree to an extent, but I do think they also, if they picked a better actress for Captain Marvel, they would have definitely made a lot more money on that film.
Oh, totally. A lot of people, from what I remember, who was the actress from Game of Thrones that was I
know who you're talking about. Emilia Clarke, I think that's her name.
She's the one that played the Queen of the Dragons, right?
Daenerys, yeah. I think it's Emilia Clarke.
Yeah, that one. A lot of people said that she should have been the actress for Captain Marvel.
I think that's right. Yeah, Emilia.
Which I'm not going to lie, it actually makes a lot more sense. She's, I don't know, very facial expressive when she acts.
Yeah, she can actually convey power. She can convey emotion. She can convey badassery while also conveying a sadness or anything other than pride.
Or deadpan angry woman angry because men bad.
Yeah. I think Miss Marvel, the TV show, got a lot more hate than it deserved, but it wasn't exactly a good show, I would say.
I think it's because of the fact that they made her the first on-screen mutant when...
Well, they were planning to use the mutants from the Mutant show. Unfortunately, that film flopped so horribly bad. And then they tried to also make her an Inhuman, and then the Inhuman show flopped so unbelievably bad.
Well, that's because she actually is an Inhuman.
I know, but they couldn't really bring in Inhumans because of how bad that show did. They tried to make her a mutant, and that didn't go so well. Yeah. So then they tried linking her with Captain Marvel, which didn't make much sense.
Honestly, they should have just made her like a freaking Green Lantern and moved on with their lives.
That's DC.
I know, but I'm saying they should have given her something like an origin that's sort of similar to the Green Lantern, space that chose her. Like the armbands. The armbands gave her the power to shoot energies, and problem solved. There, I fixed Ms. Marvel for you.
The only I would say in terms of in terms of the Marvel movies after Endgame, because the Endgame saga is, in my opinion, one of the best extended universes. It's not flawless, but it was damn near flawless.
Far From Home is the perfect epilogue. I don't care what anybody says.
Yeah, Far From Home was amazing. But in terms of what came after Endgame, I think Far From Home was an absolute hit. I think I think the previous one, or no, Far From Home was amazing. No Way Home was amazing. Shang-Chi was actually really surprising to me because I've heard a lot of negative things about that film. It was actually really good. I don't know why people hate on that one.
Which one?
Shang-Chi?
Oh, I think it's the reason, from what I understand, the reason why people hated it was because the Mandarin was the villain for the third Iron Man movie, and they completely botched what it meant to be the Mandarin. So then you
Yeah,
go
because
back.
they had him be an actor in the Iron Man 3 film, which was awful. And they had fucking, what's his name? What's his name? Fucking Killian guy. Eldrick Killian?
Yeah, something like that or whatever.
They had him come and basically say, oh yeah, I took on the persona of the Mandarin. He doesn't exist. And then they had the real Mandarin show up and we still... I think that would explain why people didn't like it as much. But I still think it's massively overhated for how good everything in it was.
Yeah. What about the Eternals?
I'll say this. There's definitely like an agenda with Marvel now, but I don't dislike the Eternals as much as everyone else. Because it actually is it is decently faithful to the source material.
That's kind of where we're going to have to argue a little bit because the fact that I never liked the Eternals in the comics, I felt like they were kind of useless. And what honestly irked me, what honestly irked me was the fact that you have one of the Eternals saying, "We're so powerful, we could have easily have obliterated Thanos." Then what the hell were you doing this whole time?
They were snapped out of existence, I think was the excuse.
Oh yeah, because they always need a freaking excuse to have an overpowered character and not show up for anything. And let's be honest, if you're so powerful that you could beat Thanos, why is an old woman in her 60s whooping your ass with a freaking broom?
What?
Don't you remember that? Or did they take it out?
Brain not braining.
Okay, so in the original Eternals trailer, right, the original one, the guy that wears the blue outfit, he basically... Yeah, Icarus, right? He goes to this old woman's house looking for somebody. I think the Eternals were like masquerading as humans, so he was trying to find somebody to wake her up or whatever. I don't really know the plot of the trailer, but he goes to this old woman's house saying that he's looking for somebody, and he's basically like, "Be gone, human, for I am a god." And she whooped his ass with a fucking broom.
Oh damn! I actually didn't remember that.
Yeah, and then the woman that was traveling with him, she yanks the broom out of the woman's hands, and she's like, "Please move aside. This is eternal business." Like, wait a minute. The guy got his ass beat in 3 seconds, but boss bitch over here, like, of course, because it's Marvel now.
Yeah. I will say that Eternals, it is dependent on whether you like the characters from the beginning, if you are a Marvel fan. But, like, if you're coming into it with no knowledge of Marvel, you're definitely not going to like Eternals, because it's a bit too complicated and a bit too redundant to watch.
Right, hang on. Kirishima wrote a couple questions.
If you could make anything you wanted into a 6-season anime and you were in total control of what happens in that anime, what would you make and why? I'm actually kind of getting what I want, because I honestly would love a Suicide Squad anime, and it's coming out this year. So I'm kind of getting what I want anyway.
Right.
And they have done justice with the trailers, because holy shit have they made good character designs.
For me, it would have to be the Legend of Heroes series.
I don't know what that is.
It's a video game franchise that has spun off into like multiple spin-offs that still interlocked at crucial moments. Like, they do have an anime based off of the events that happened after the second game going into the Civil War, but like, if you only ever watch that, you're not going to know the whole overall plot. See, it originally started off with The Legend of Heroes Trials into Sky, which spun off into Legend of Heroes, The Legend from Zero into Asher, or Azure, into Azure Tree, and then the final one was The Legend of Heroes, the Legend of Heroes Trials of Cold Steel, which is an amazing freaking game that I highly cannot recommend enough. There's 4 games in The Legend of Heroes Trials of Cold Steel, and they all it's basically like the equivalent of Endgame, where like you have different franchises that all come together to fight like this one major battle. And then it spins off into The Legend of Heroes Trials of Revere or Reverence. I don't know how to pronounce that word. And then there's supposed to be more, but like I said, it's one of those things of like, if this was made into a show, I want it.
Yeah, I feel that.
And then
the reason why I said I'd want Suicide Squad is because there are so many teams to work with.
Yeah.
Because there's one team that has General Zod on it.
Oh, I remember that.
It didn't last long. I mean, he fucking beat Waller somehow, which is not something most characters can claim to do.
I mean, to be fair, he's basically evil Superman. He could just do what Superman did.
Yeah, but she had a kryptonite bomb in his head. He blew out a chunk of his head trying to get that thing out. But god damn, was it menacing to see. But you have so many different variations of the Suicide Squad that I think even if each season it ended with most of the team dying, coming back, and then the next season could be an entirely new team and an entirely new mission. That would be a really cool concept to find, because it's how far do you have to go before eventually you just realize that there's not enough expendable villains?
Exactly. Like the Clock King.
If your last ditch effort to save humanity is the Clock King, yeah, you might as well just sign your death warrant.
No, but I'm saying, why would the Clock King ever be part of the friggin' Suicide Squad? He has no powers.
Yeah, yeah, fair. I think another thing that was really cool about the Suicide Squad animated trailer that they released is that it's a Suicide Squad that's somewhat fairly unique. Because Deadshot, Peacemaker, Harley Quinn, King Shark, fair. I get it. They're always on the team. But to see Clayface for the first time on that sort of team, that is a good one for me, because I love Clayface. He's a really cool villain.
I honestly generally have to ask, how do you put a bomb in Clayface?
I mean, I don't know, but trying to figure out the semantics of that is not something I'm really invested in.
No, because for me, don't get me wrong, I would love to see, Clayface as part of the team, but at the same time, it's he's able to liquefy his body if he so chooses. There's even an incarnation of him that can turn into a gas form. He can literally turn into a cloud. So how do you force him?
I think it's more so that one might be a thing of it's a nanite bomb or something that Batman or Lex Luthor designed to basically freeze him over. Because it is shown that he has a very big weakness to being exposed to too high of a heat or too low of a heat. If he freezes, he can shatter. If he's too high of a heat, he turns into clay.
Unless
he turns into terracotta.
This is how I would write it. I would write it where Clayface is on his whole redemption arc to becoming a hero, like he was in the comics at one point. And in order to become a hero, he has to lead the Suicide Squad. Think about that. Being forced to take care of villains and making sure they survive. That would be the perfect way to make sure that he doesn't go rogue.
That is really cool. Plus, I'm going to be honest. I have never liked Peacemaker in the comics at all. He's not a very interesting character. But after seeing James Gunn's Suicide Squad movie, I'm actually interested to see how they handle him in this isekai Suicide Squad film series.
Right. Just real quickly to Kirishima's point, a Godzilla anime would actually be pretty good.
Don't they kind of have that coming out soon? Like Kaiju Zero or something?
Is that a Godzilla reference?
I think it's something like it, but I might be wrong.
Interesting. I didn't know that. I did hear about the Kaiju Zero, but I didn't know it was supposed to be Godzilla related. If it is, it's probably going to be good. If not, then something else to kill time with. Watching
yeah, fair.
Time, But yeah, so to circle back to another topic we were originally talking about, you remember how you said that you don't like writing overpowered Dekus?
Yeah.
Remember that? I actually wanted to expand on that. What do you consider to be overpowered, and what do you consider to be
Okay, so a lot of these people, when they put OP Deku, they typically make it to the point where there is no one in the series who can beat them. And then it becomes more of it's almost like a One Punch Man thing where there's no fights in it, and it becomes more of a comedy show.
Yeah.
And I don't like One Punch Man, to be perfectly honest, but that's a separate point.
True. It's not really for everybody, but I enjoy it because of the fact of when they actually do use Saitama, it's literally at the end of the fight. Everybody else gets to shine, and then, oh, here comes some Tama, boom, villain's done, next episode. I like that. You get characters that are able to actually shine, expand, grow, and get stronger, but they're still too weak. So Saitama's just next episode.
Yeah, for me, that really kills off my interest in an anime, because especially if you're a fighting show, you need to have intensity. And when you have a character that does not fear losing because they can't physically lose, it really just takes away from any importance to the show.
Right.
That's just my take on it, at least. And that's why, like, when the OP stories come out, I'm like, is this a romance OP story? Because if so, I can maybe stomach watching it. But if it's just going to be an OP for the sake of being OP and we still have fight scenes, I'm like, what do I care? I know he's going to win every single fucking fight.
I actually have two projects regarding an OP Deku, but I actually have one villain Deku that is actually broken OP because of the fact that he's the only Deku I've ever written to have time-space manipulation powers.
Yeah.
You ever play The Prince of Persia: Sands of Time?
I have not.
Well, long story short, he's able to rewind time up to 30 seconds. My villain Deku, he's able to rewind time up to 10 hours.
Oh, damn. That's actually kind of cool.
Yeah, so imagine this. Imagine fighting for your life against a villain that you're starting to get the hang of. You know, you're starting to get the upper hand, only for him to rewind time and actually whoops your ass because he knows all the moves you're going to make before you do it.
Yeah.
That's basically what I did. That's actually what I did. That's actually what I did, and to make it even more unique, I gave him the ability to let people keep their memories, or he could wipe it away if he chose. And he was doing it to completely fuck with Bakugo like there was no tomorrow.
Yeah, and that's an interesting take on it. Because it's not that he's overpowered in terms of physical strength that he can beat any opponent. He can very much lose a fight. It's just, he's clever about it. He actually works hard to win the fights. But with most of these OP stories, they're like, oh, Shigaraki's using his strongest attacks and almost kills Deku. Oh no, I was just playing with you the whole time. I'm like, really?
Yeah,
what was the point?
That's why, like, to continue, I have first let me respond to what Kirishima just said. He said, I did one completely OP Deku story, but he struggled in his fight. He didn't just one punch solely for that reason. That sounds good.
And I respect that, because if you make an OP story, I don't necessarily immediately just disregard it. It's a matter of, like, I'll watch it for a little bit, but if it's just going to be, oh yeah, I win again, I win again, I win again, I win again, I'm like, okay, well, maybe skip the fights and just go to something interesting, like a romance or something. Right. If it's a shipless OP story and he's just about fights, I cannot get invested. That is like the combination for disaster.
So what I'm planning to do, since we're going to be talking, this, like I said, this is the part of the stream where we talk future ideas and stories that we got going on. I have two OP Deku stories that I'm planning to make at some point that I know for a fact at least one of them you are going to be, why aren't you working on this right now? That one is God Amongst Mortals, right? Now, here is the full title of episode 1. God Amongst Mortals, episode 1, The Only Boy with a Quirk. Okay?
That's another story to archetype I really don't enjoy. I'm gonna be honest.
True, except for the fact that I'm actually going to make mine very unique in the fact of, like, well, before I tell you anything, what are your opinions on Dr. Doom?
I think Dr. Doom is actually one of my favorite villains because he's not even really much of a villain. Like, his people in his country, Latveria, actually outed the Avengers because they didn't want them there. They wanted the peace that they have enjoyed for so long because Dr. Doom is not a tyrant.
Right.
He's just very mean against the opposing countries that try and invade him, which, fair enough.
Mm-hmm. True. Now, the reason why I bring up Dr. Doom is because I have to show you something. It is a thumbnail that Toto did for me. And let me actually go through here and find it for you, because when I show you this thumbnail, I want to see your reaction. I need to see your reaction. If I can freaking find this thumbnail, I got way too many images.
And Kirishima says I got a lot of future stories. Leo knows some of them already.
Yeah, trust me, they're hype. I am hyped for all of them.
I've actually just been, like, planning out some of mine. They're pretty basic, though. Like, the ones that I've got planned right now, like, you already know that I'm doing the Superman Deku. But, like, I'm making it not an OP per se. He's still Superman, so he is pretty powerful, but I'm keeping him balanced.
Right.
But this story basically takes place, like, maybe a couple years into Superman's career as a hero, and he's not, like, wholly used to it yet. So it's still, like, early days, so he's still getting used to the territory and everything. But I'm also introducing other heroes into it as well.
Okay.
The other story I'm working with, I've just posted, like, a bunch of polls this morning, basically, like, it was basically meant to be like a thing of I'm making a fantasy MHA, which is set in like a mystical fantasy isekai type world.
I saw the polls and I voted on every one of them.
Yeah, you hyped for that because that one was one of the ones.
Oh yeah.
Because I don't remember. I'll actually get up the polls to see who's winning. Because I don't check it until the end of the day typically.
Right. So okay, just to sidetrack, I finally found the thumbnail. I'm trying to link it to your Discord now. This is the thumbnail, and this should give you all the information that you need for this story.
Okay. Oh no. You're going that version of Doom.
Yeah.
Oh, sweet Jesus.
Yep, and that is the Izuku for the story.
I'm scared. So you're not going with the version of Doom that I know then? Okay. No,
I'm going with the only one that matters.
I feel like that's a stretch, but well yeah. But it is, that is actually good.
All right, Kirishima, have a good one, man.
Oh, is Kirishima clocking out?
Yeah.
All right. You have a good one, Kiri.
Yep. So yeah, that's the version that I'm gonna go with. And the overall plot is, like, as always with the only boy with a quirk, it's a matriarchy. The women are in power, and unlike in most stories, hang on a second. I'm busy. I'll be right back. I'm being called. I am being summoned in the real world.
All good. I'm just checking my. All good.
All right. I'll be back. Hold on.
So I'm looking at the results of the polls that I've recently put up. Yeah, if you want to come back, we're probably going to be on for a little bit longer. I don't know how long, to be honest. Oh, Dragon Mage is winning. I am surprised by that. I am not surprised that that's the one winning, though. Jiro is an assassin. Pretty cool. Honestly, like, a lot of these were very similarly built. Just, I had a few characters in mind I want to use for this series. This was the one I did not expect to get many votes just because of this name here. This motherfucker. Really, not a single character, not a single person picked this one. Damn, 1B gets no love in this series. Holy shit. Damn. I mean, yeah, I guess this is a pretty good lineup because you got Amajiki, who's honestly one of my favorites. Kirishima was on every single one because I refused to have a series without Kirishima as the main character. Fight me. But yeah, Mina, Kirishima, Eri, yeah, pretty fitting. And then the title being The Voyage of a Lifetime. And then that's the post announcing this. Yeah, I've got a lot of things to answer for. And I've got this going on. This is probably going to be my most invested version of the Ignored series. Because, like, I've done Ignored Izujiro, Izu Nejire, Izu Momo. It was Izujiro, Izu Nejire, and Izu Kendo. I don't think I've done Izu Momo because I just, like I said, I've been out of that sort of scope for a while. But yeah, honestly, like, okay, this poll has changed in recent days because this was winning when I decided to do Superman and Deku. This was not. The results have changed drastically. What the fuck happened? This is more or less stayed the same. And I've got the first episode of this coming out soon. Yeah, Sukuna will more than likely be a part of it. But yeah, honestly, like, I think with like this series, I've got Alistair Deku still coming. I've got Endgame MHA has been put on hiatus, but I'm more or less going to return to that at some point. MHA Across Time, I'm still working on. just at a slower rate because that one requires a little bit more research than the rest of my series do. Yeah, honestly, I'm looking forward to some of the stuff that's coming out.
I'm on my way.
Welcome back.
I have returned. You may rejoice.
Hello. I was just looking over my like posts recently. I found out that Dragon Mage is winning, so I was honestly expecting either Dark Mage or Vampiric to win that one. Zero I was expecting for the ship.
Yeah.
I think more or less I was hoping it was either Jiro or Ibarra because I had fucking zero clue what to do with these two.
You got that vampire Deku just like I do, but I want that Dark Mage image.
I can send it to you if you like.
Oh, I would much appreciate that.
Yeah. I was pretty much expecting this outcome as well. Like, I was surprised that 0% of people voted for any of the 1B like group.
Honestly, I feel like the only one that will outshine anybody when it comes to 1B is always going to be Kendo.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, Yui's another popular one.
Yeah, because honestly, they gave her enough episodes to at least give her a little bit of a personality without it like overstaying its welcome.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm also doing like a anime Smash Bros thing. The first episode's basically going to have Goku as the character I work on, but anyone's fair game, really.
Right.
But yeah, that's a separate thing I'm working on. I'm also doing an Ignored Izu Melissa. Can I just say that Ignored series is probably my favorite one to do? Like, of all the archetypes that there is, that is the one that I find has the most potential for story building.
Right. It really does, because when it comes to a lot of different interpretations of stories, I feel like neglected Deku, overpowered, and betrayed are all the same in one form or another.
Yeah, they're always like someone basically pissed them off when he was a kid. He goes, trains, but comes back better.
Yeah.
With the Ignored series, anything can really fucking happen. From actually going through with what usually happens in those stories.
Yeah, because honestly, what I honestly hate about the neglected Deku story is it's always predictable. Like, no offense to the writers, because some have done some neglected stories that were pretty damn good, but I always find it annoying of he was neglected because he was quirkless, and then, oh, it turns out because he was ignored for so long, now he has the powers of a god.
Yeah.
Like, that's the entire story is based off of that anime, which I can never remember. The guy's got pink hair with, like, these little little buns in his head or something. He always wears, like, a green skull uniform.
I can only think of Psyche K, and I'm pretty sure that's not it.
I don't remember, but like he's OP as hell because of the fact that he was ignored for so long. But like I'm saying, every neglected Deku story is always he was neglected. Now he has the powers of a god, but he keeps it to himself because you wanted nothing to do with me when I was quirkless. Now that I'm a god, now you want to be my friend.
And the thing I will say about Ignored like series is that they do follow a very similar template a lot of the time because it's always ignored for 48 hours. A lot of the time you'll see YouTubers try and use like, it was a prank thing. Yeah. But the thing is, I've seen so many different variations that don't follow that format. There was one that actually got me into text stories, and I can't remember who did it. But they had Izuku basically possess Shinra's powers from Fire Force. Mm-hmm. And it was really well done. I can't remember who did it because it was like so early on into my like YouTube career. So this was like 4 years ago for the better half. But it was so compelling because it wasn't just that he was ignored for a prank. He was ignored because they wanted to get rid of him because he was showing the rest of them up at some point.
Right.
And I try to keep each of them different from each other. Because like the first one I ever did was Ignored Izuchiro. That one was a prank. because like I was still getting used to the templates and things, and I wanted to make it new.
Right.
Then for like the second one, which was Izu Kendo, I can't remember why I did it, but I think it was for the reason of, what was it again? I don't think that one was a prank. I think that one was Bakugo's manipulation or something. I can't remember the full extent. But then Izu Nejire, I did it because everyone found out that, or everyone thought that Izuku was cheating on Uraraka, which wasn't the case. But it was a misunderstanding that was furthered on by Bakugo. Bakugo tends to not be a very likable character in my stories.
Not mine either. No, he's usually a bottom bitch.
Yeah. But no, like, the reason why I like the ignored stories is because you can always get at least something out of them.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, there's one YouTuber who's, like, probably got the most subscribers of any text tuber I've ever watched. But she does, like, a lot of one-shots or something.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, I'm trying to find
why. That might be why. I've seemed to notice that one-shots tend to do a lot better than series stories because it's just a glimpse into the story and that's it.
Yeah, and I think that's mainly because, like, people tend to go for something they can watch in a burst and get all the adrenaline from, rather than stuff that they have to wait for a consistent release of, if you know what I mean.
Which I honestly feel like that's probably why a lot of my stories don't do as good now as when I first started. Because when I first started, I used to be able to write like 3 to 4 episodes a day.
I will say that I think a lot of our careers on YouTube were boosted by COVID. Because the fact that no one could go outside, people were watching YouTube a lot more back then, and these kind of stories did a lot better because of it was being a lot more depressing time, and it was a lot more uplifting to read.
True.
I think a lot of us had a lot more viewers back then.
Yeah.
The most recent story I've had that has received a large viewership was Alistair Deku.
Right.
And then prior to that, it was Jack the Ripper Deku back in Halloween.
Right. Yeah, because some of my stories, like the news stories that I can actually do right, like when it comes to my private life and my YouTube life, I try to keep them separate because, like, I don't want to bore people with like my own personal problems or my own issues because everybody is suffering from something or another, or they got their own problems they want to deal with. Who the hell wants to listen to some random person's problems that they got, right? So yeah. I try to keep both as separate as possible. But a couple of years ago, right before I want to say right before the pandemic got to its highest point, I lost my grandfather. Right, and he was always more of a father figure than a grandfather to me. And once he passed, he passed, and my grandma was left behind. So my grandma had to move in with us, and she's got dementia. So all that free time that I used to have to work on stories is now used to look after her.
Yeah.
And that's why some of my stories aren't as consistently uploaded as they used to be, or some episodes may have like a depressing vibe to it because I love my grandma, but it is so much work having to look after her,
Yeah. I feel that.
Yeah, because one thing my mom had promised my grandfather, she promised the man on his deathbed that she would never put my grandma into a home. That was always my grandfather's biggest fear, was that if he were to go, that's where she would end up. So my mom promised him that would never happen. She will be with us. And like I said, I love my grandma, but it is so much work.
Yeah. Well, I give you major props for being able to do that.
I appreciate that, and that's why when it comes to my stories, I try to make them as uplifting, and I try to give them like a positive vibe to them. But even I can tell like there's a little bit of depression even in the stories. So I can't tell if people are just signing off because the stories are too depressing, or if they can feel like there's like a shift in how I write.
Yeah, I feel like my situation was a lot of the reverse. People tuned into my stories a lot more back when I was in a little bit more of a darker space and was writing a lot more depressing stories. They got a lot more views than anything I've done lately. Because when it first started, I think I'd just moved. If COVID had been around for maybe a year, and I'd just moved over to Florida, which Florida is not exactly the best for restrictions. The problem was, while there was no restrictions with going to school, there was no restrictions with going out and anything like that. What there was a problem with was that I had just moved there and I was pretty much alone. there was no stable network or anything. I was very much shut in, and I did not want to go, and I was not very able to hang out with people. I don't do social situations very well.
Neither do I.
But what made it worse was the fact that I couldn't really find a group to get along with, because Florida's, I'm not going to say too much on the matter, but Florida's a very politically divisive place.
Right.
And if you don't seem to align with one of the two very extreme sides of the spectrum, you tend to be left out in the dust.
Ain't that the truth?
So you either have to associate with one group of a certain belief or another, or you're on your own. And unfortunately, I don't side with either of them. So I went on my own for I think I was there for like 6 months, and I got into a very dark like space. And that was when I started writing. I think I actually wrote Depressed Izumomo as a way of like venting.
Right.
My first ever series were both like very depressing stories, but Depressed Izumomo was kind of when it hit the peak.
Yeah.
And I was really I was struggling at that point. But that was when I was getting my most viewership, because I was putting the most like depressing and angsty stories that I've ever done. And I've not been in that same like headspace until recently.
Mm-hmm.
So I can't really write it the same as I used to. And I think that's why my viewership has died down a lot.
I hear you. You know, everybody likes dark stories every once in a while, but when it's always if it's like the only thing a person ever writes, it kind of becomes bland. Like,
I'm not saying like that. I'm saying like I stopped writing the darker stories recently, and that's why my viewership has gone down drastically.
Right, which, nothing wrong with that, changing your writing style. What I was gonna say is that everybody has a particular story type that they watch and they enjoy. I can tell you right now, everybody that watched my Godslayer Deku, I can guarantee at least like 90% of them have never watched anything else I've written. I'll get an audience for like one particular story, and this is the only story they'll watch without ever checking anything else. So depending on who you're trying to cater to, give them what they want, it's always hit or miss. Sometimes the really dark, scary, depressed stories will do a lot better than an uplifting, motivational story. But depending on the writer, the motivational one might do better than their dark story. It just depends on what a person's in the mood for.
Yeah. I do think like a lot of it comes down to the mindsets of like the people at the time. And I think my writing especially has more or less changed to be more of a, because when I first started, I was doing all the angsty, like ignored, betrayed, depressed, etc. Nowadays, I go more for like, oh, what if Deku had this person's powers? What if MHA was set in this world? This, that, and the other. And a lot of that just doesn't appeal to as many people if it's not characters they're familiar with, or if it's not Goku or Superman or overpowered characters like that. That's why I'm hoping that Superman Deku does well, honestly.
I'm sure it will.
I hope it does. But it's more the thing of I don't know what to do, because it's hard to really get consensus on what you're doing right, what you're doing wrong, because it's all about different preferences.
Right. Well, like, okay, so when you say that you can't figure out how to write, like, what do you mean? Like, are you talking plot wise or power wise?
It's not like I can't write. It's just I don't know what to write that would make the most people enjoy it. Because like I know that there's certain stories that would make certain people happier, and then certain stories that would make other people happier, and neither of them are really on the same wavelength. Right. So I'm never truly sure what to do in that regard.
All right. I think the easiest answer for this situation would be, what do you think you would be best? Like, what I mean is, as you're writing this story, go with the mindset of, I'm a fan. This is one of my favorite text tubers that's ever written a story. Go with the mindset of, if you were watching somebody else make this story, how would you want the plot to go?
Can I be perfectly honest with you, man?
Yeah.
I have loved my channel, and I've loved doing the MHA texting stories thing. I have been trying to find an out from the MHA side of things and make a story that people would actually want to watch that's not MHA. Unfortunately, people don't tune in as much to the non-MHA ones, because I tried doing Demon Slayer Nezuko. That one did pretty well for a while, but it had very inconsistent views on it. But then I tried Universal Collision, which was like an anime crossover thing. it was it was a lot longer, and it felt like more one shots for people to enjoy, but it also didn't receive much viewership.
Right.
MHA Across Time was kind of my next attempt, and it's also not really receiving much viewership, honestly, either.
Yeah,
and I feel like I kind of want to stray away from the MHA thing a bit, but I know what gets the most views on my channel. I know what I'm kind of locked into.
Yeah. Same here. That's why it's always good to mix it up a little bit. Whether it's just taking Izuku into another universe by himself, or if it's just completely changing everything altogether. You know, I love My Hero and I love the story base and I love everything, but some stuff that aren't catered, if you don't do something a particular way, you won't get the views. Like I did that I did that story 17 again, which you've read and you said that you thought it was really good.
It was fucking amazing.
Thank you. If you look at the viewership, because it's not a story about Izuku, look at the views.
Yeah, it really just it is the thing of like you do have your set. We do have our set niches that we can't really escape from.
Yeah. You know, because I've tried doing a Naruto text story where, you know, what if Hiruzen actually did what he was supposed to? Like, literally, in the first episode, he takes Naruto as his son. He flat out adopts him. He finds out that what Danzo did, kills Danzo on the spot. There's a little bit of he also expels the village elders, you know, that old man and woman that are always giving Tsunade a hard time. He expelled them from the village. That episode, remember that one flashback episode where Orochimaru said, "Oh, too bad you didn't kill me when you had the chance, Hiruzen. Maybe I wouldn't have been a threat now." Yeah, Orochimaru's dead.
Yeah.
And that's all in the first episode. So the story takes place, like, what would happen if Naruto was actually raised as the third Hokage's son? Like,
I feel like him and Konohamaru would also be getting along better.
Oh yeah, they treat each other like siblings.
I also think like Naruto realistically wouldn't get the Shadow Clone Jutsu at that rate.
Yeah, honestly, I don't even think he has Shadow Clone Jutsu. I know Clone.
No, because like the thing was, he got the whole jutsu because he was trying to prove himself to everyone. So he tried to take the other one, like the scroll.
Mm-hmm.
So realistically, because he wasn't trying to prove himself to anyone, because Hiruzen would have adopted him, he wouldn't have tried to steal the scroll, and that other guy would have stolen the scroll without issue. Oh wait, no, he wouldn't have, because Naruto wouldn't.
Yeah.
Oh god damn! It's a Raiders of the Lost Ark situation.
Yep. So basically, what I did was Naruto actually ends up fighting with jutsu similar to the third Hokage and Asuma, because they're the two that train him.
Yeah.
He doesn't use Shadow Clone Jutsu, but he does use normal clone jutsu. Clone jutsu is something that, you know, in order to graduate the academy, you have to know it. So Shadow Clone and normal clone jutsu were two separate jutsus that they never really explained what the hell the difference was.
I think it was the amount.
I don't know.
Oh wait, no, it wouldn't have been.
No, because in the graduation, you know, you needed to make 3 clones of clone jutsu. But
Was it their durability?
I guess it's durability or the fact that the experience is transferred to the user.
Possibly. I don't think they ever really explained it.
They really don't. Like, think about it.
And again, it's Naruto, so...
Yeah, like, first episode, okay, in order to graduate, you need to know how to do clone jutsu. You learned Shadow Clone Jutsu, that's a forbidden technique. Why? What the hell's the difference?
I don't know. I think it was more like it was probably like the shortcut it took, because like he wasn't able to use the Shadow Clone Jutsu very well, but then he managed to use, or no, he couldn't use the Clone Jutsu, but he took the scroll and then somehow knew how to do Shadow Clones.
Yeah, because he only had enough time to read the one jutsu because Iruka showed up.
Yeah, which makes no sense again.
Yeah. So,
like, what is the difference? I need an answer on that.
I don't know. That's honestly a good question. One person said, from what I remember when I was actually looking into this, one person said that the difference between clone jutsu and shadow clone jutsu is that clone jutsu uses up a small amount of chakra, whereas shadow clone jutsu, if you use too much of it, can kill you.
Yeah, but with Naruto being a prodigy, having all that spare chakra from Kurama and shit.
Yeah, so that's probably why Naruto never deals with side effects. Because remember what Kakashi told him? Naruto has like 10 times the amount of chakra that Kakashi does. So if Kakashi tried using Shadow Clone Jutsu, he could probably make 1 or 2 clones and that's it. Whereas Naruto can make 1,000.
Yeah.
So I think that's probably the difference. The difference is overused clone jutsu. Oh, you'll be fine. You'll just be exhausted. Overused shadow clone jutsu. Yeah, you're dead.
Yeah, they really don't explain it very well.
No, and then when you look at the anime, everybody's using shadow clone jutsu. Nobody yells clone jutsu. Everybody goes shadow clone jutsu. So is it really that forbidden if everybody's using it?
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah, like even on the bridge. Remember the Zabuza arc? Shadow clone jutsu, Kakashi style. Didn't you say shadow clone was really?
I feel like Kakashi is a bit of a cop out though, because he can just copy anything he sees.
Yeah.
Nah, it's dumb.
Yeah, but you have Shikamaru that did shadow clone jutsu one time. Gaara did sand clone jutsu, which I mean, let's be honest, it's Gaara.
They established that was different though.
What?
I think they established that was different. I think.
What? Shikamaru's shadow clone jutsu?
No, the sand clone.
Oh, yeah. It was just a clone made out of sand. Basically, that was it.
Yeah,
but like everybody uses shadow clone. Jiraiya, Tsunade, Orochimaru, Hiruzen. Name a character.
How is it illegal if it's common knowledge?
Right? Unless Naruto using shadow clone jutsu made it legal.
And like honestly, what problems weren't solved with shadow clones and Rasengan?
Exactly.
Like Naruto didn't need barely anything else. Those two moves in compatibility, one shot or pretty much killed anyone he went up against, except Madara.
Exactly. And then you get to the 4th grade ninja war, and Naruto's using different variations of the Rasengan. You got Rasen Shuriken, Fireball Rasen. You got basically add a Biju power, boom, add an element. There you go. Lightning Rasengan, Fire Rasengan, Wind Rasengan, Earth Rasengan. Like, bro, just what are you, Captain Planet now?
Yeah, it's weird.
Captain Naruto, he's a shadow clone, gonna take you down with Kurama.
Oh god.
But no, like you were saying, I think like a story about like Naruto being raised by Hiruzen would probably make people like Hiruzen more.
You would think, but it barely got any traction. And then I do want to write more, but it's kind of like one of those things of like, why am I going to invest so much time into writing as good of a story as I can if nobody's going to watch it?
That's the exact problem I have sometimes. Like I think I have ended so many damn series on that like issue.
Yeah, honestly, I'm never going to cancel this story. It's just they're on permanent hiatus at the moment. I've got like over 80 different, maybe not 80. I got over like 10 different stories that I started but never finished because it's not doing as good as
I'm just going to send you something real quick because I have a friend who does like artwork for me occasionally, and I asked her to do just one specific thing for my Superman Deku. I'm just trying to get the image to save.
Yeah,
she actually designed this for me.
Oh, I like that. That's cute.
That is actually fucking sick.
I think she's just adorable.
Yeah, but no, because you've seen the images I've got for the other characters. This was the only one I didn't have a good image for, so I asked my friend to do it for me. She's amazing at art. I think have I shown you my Power Stone Deku at all?
I don't think you have. Oh wait, maybe. I think
it's under like Infinity War MHA, but I'll show you real quick. So this was actually a series I did where basically 5 different MHA characters plus Vision got given Infinity Stone powers.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So each of their you see where each of them has a glowing bit of their respective stone color.
Yeah.
The first series basically ended off with Shigaraki taking the role of Thanos and basically taking the stones, and he won the first half because he had to kill all 6 of these guys to get their powers.
Jesus.
Yeah, every one of these characters has canonically died at least once. Monoma has died twice.
So that's Monoma in the middle?
Yeah.
I was going to ask who the hell is that?
I think actually, hold up. I also have an updated image she gave me after I reintroduced all the characters back into the series. Because they all died and then they came back not long after.
Right.
And this is their new looks. It's not drastically different, but it was pretty damn good in my opinion.
Oh, that's really good. I like that.
Yeah, because like when they got revived, I had them all basically get affected by their powers in a different way. Like Momo basically got sent to like the Earth that Doctor Strange went to in Multiverse of Madness, where there was like my own version of the Illuminati and shit. Monoma basically got sent back down and was kind of heartless at the start, but then got his emotions back once he met with his ship, which was Setsuna.
Right.
Vision is weird because he was initially like he got his mind reset back to Ultron.
Oh boy.
Unfortunately, he was like reset completely, so it was just the Ultron virus, not all the other like robotic components.
Right.
So he couldn't hack into anything.
Right.
And then Eri was sent back in time, but she has the powers of Dormammu, Doctor Strange, and the Time Stone.
Read the chat.
Dobby has the Silver Surfer's surfboard.
Nice.
And Izuku is the son of Black Knight, one of the Eternals.
Oh, nice. Higan just said 3 hours, dear Lord.
Yeah, we've been going at it. But
We
now,
have, and I feel like we're just getting started.
Yeah, but I mean, we can always say parts of this for like later episodes because this has actually been a fucking awesome time.
Oh, definitely. Just one thing I want to end it on. I want to end it on what is a future story that you plan to make that may or may not upset people.
May or may not upset people.
Yeah. Like, for example, okay, you know how I said we were talking about overpowered Dekus before, and I showed you like the image for a God Amongst Mortals. I have another overpowered Deku that I plan to make, which I think is going to upset people because Izuku's powers aren't what you think they are. For example, do you know who Karnak is from the Inhumans?
I know that name. Why do I know that name?
Well, his power is that whenever he fights somebody, he knows what their weakness is and exploits them until they lose. So basically,
oh, this fucker. Yeah, he had a goofy ass costume back in the comics of old.
Oh, don't worry. The image I found of Izuku, he basically looks like Ryu from Street Fighter.
Oh, fair enough.
So the reason why I'm going to be it's actually going to be called Transfer Student Deku. Now, the way the story is going to work is he has the powers of Karnak, but only with his eyes. Like if he looks at you, he knows where your weak point is, but his body, because of the fact that his body isn't developed, he can't really use his quirk the way it needs to be used. For example, let's say you're somebody that you know what? We'll go with Bakugo as a perfect example. We all know that Bakugo has heart problems. Izuku can easily do a flat palm to the heart and momentarily stop Bakugo's heart for a split second. That's his weakness. And Izuku can stop his heart to take advantage. Now, the reason why it's going to be OP is because of the fact that his mentor that teaches him how to fight in hand-to-hand combat is going to be Ryu from Street Fighter. So he has an unbeatable power, he just doesn't have the physique to utilize it. So he goes out, finds a mentor that trains him from the bottom up to basically have a body that can be used with his quirk. Now, as I said, it's called Transfer Student Deku. Here is where the story takes a complete 180 that nobody's going to be expecting. Instead of being transferred into 1A, he gets into 1A and leaves. He's like, hell no, I want to be in 1B.
I mean,
The reason why? The woman he's in love with is in 1B.
Kendo? Yui?
Yep, it's Kendo.
Okay.
Yeah, but here's the plot twist that nobody's going to be expecting. You don't know who Izuku is. Like, literally, he goes into 1B, he looks at Kendo, runs over, goes full set mode. Kendo, my love, I finally found you, now we can be together. Who are you?
That's gonna hurt.
Yeah, he's like, oh, yeah, you don't recognize me because I changed, but I'm the guy you promised that you were going to marry.
You know what you gotta do? You have to keep up the coolest of bravados for that entire time that he's not in 1B, and then the moment he goes over to say, profess his love to Kendo, make it as absolutely emotionally heartfelt as possible, just for her to crush everything down on him.
Oh my god. Because the one thing that I'm planning to do for this story is Kendo is going to be the daughter of a villain. Now, what is Kendo's full name?
Itsuka Kendo.
Okay. And what villain from the 8 Bullets has Kendo in their name?
The 8 Bullets.
Yep.
Oh fuck.
Those guys that follow Overhaul around. Yeah. Look up one of the villains.
Kendo Rappa?
Uh-huh. Do you see the connection yet?
No. Braining.
Kendo Itsuki, Kendo Rappa.
Related?
I don't know if they are in canon, but in my story, that's gonna be her father.
Oh, my brain was like fucking dying on me. Then I was like, what? Where is he going with this?
Because if you look at their names, the word Kendo is in both their names, and it's spelled the same.
Except the order is different because, like, in Japanese, well, it's weird. Like, technically, it's her last name, his first name.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not perfect. Like, you can switch it up pretty easily.
Exactly, but that's what I'm planning to do. I'm going to have it be where Kendo is the daughter of Rappa, and Rappa, as we know, he is a villain. So a lot of people are going to treat Kendo as if she's a villain. Oh, your dad's a villain, so you're going to be a villain too. So Izuku is one of the few people that generally cares about who she is, despite whatever her last name is. So, yeah, when Izuku finally catches up with Kendo, it's full simp mode, worse than Thanos and Mistress Death. Completely worse. You have this OP dude. You have this OP dude that one-shots All Might, forcing him into skinny form because he accidentally hit his weak point, not realizing All Might's true secret. He's just like, uh-oh.
Jesus.
And then literally 5 minutes later, the man is simping for Kendo. And she has no idea who the hell this dude is. Like, literally, I'm going to have episode 1 open up with the image of Izuku standing over the strongest members of 1A. Like, he's already beaten them. He's beaten Bakugo, Tokoyami, Kirishima, Shoto. They're all unconscious on the ground, just bleeding. All Might tries to stop him, you know, he basically takes the rivalry with 1A and 1B worse than Monoma does, because Monoma's going to be egging him on the whole time. Basically, like, did you hear what the guys from 1A... Did you hear what the guys from 1A said about Kendo? Oh, man, I don't know if I would tolerate that if she was my girl. What the hell did they say? And then Monoma makes up a bunch of lies. Izuku beelines to 1A and beats the living shit out of everybody. All Might, of course, in buff form. Young Midoriya, please calm down. Izuku turns around. Ah! That scene from Avengers Infinity War when the Ancient One smacked...
when she beat fucking Bruce Banner out of the Hulk.
Yep, that's gonna happen, and All Might's gonna end up in his skinny form. And Izuku's just like, did I just kill All Might?
That's actually kind of sick. I can't wait to see that story.
Yeah, and then, you know, once All Might, you know, oh crap, recovery time. I'm buff again. You managed to turn my quirk off for a split second, but even All Might can get caught off guard every once in a while. Just playing it off as a joke because, you know, still needs to be a secret. And then Izuku goes over to Kendo. Kendo, my love, did you see how I defended your honor? Who the hell are you?
That will be interesting to see.
Just the entire time, the dude is down bad. Like, seriously, you don't recognize me? Do you not remember how you saved me? And you told me that I need to be a man that can defend myself in fights. Don't you remember that? No? Well, crap. And just him trying to win her heart. Instead of just flat out saying who he is and how they know each other, it's him trying to jog her memory. But she's not going to remember at all because of the fact of, like, keep in mind, she's been bullied, she's been demonized because of who her father is, so she just kind of tunes people out from her world. If you're not her friend, she's not going to remember you.
That's cold as shit, but I respect it.
You know? So yeah, as the story progresses, she, of course, since she's the ship, of course she's going to return his feelings, but it's going to be over time. It's not going to be, Kendo, I love you too, let's get married. No, Kendo, I love you. Who are you?
I can't. I'm actually looking forward to reading that one because it may be an overpowered story, but at least it has something I can actually look forward to.
Right, and I'm actually hold on, let me give you the image of what Izuku's gonna look like in this story. This should take me like a split second to get his actual image.
Yeah.
I think
In answer to your question, though, from myself,
Mhm.
I genuinely don't know what stories I'll do that will piss people off, because I don't typically tend to. I typically keep it up to polls. I do have one plan, though. When I fucking finally finish Record of Ragnarok, that series is going to take me a goddamn month or a year. But once I finish it, I'm going to be... So I'm working on a manga project with a friend of mine. She's doing the art, I'm doing the story. But I plan on writing it out as a text story first to get people's opinions on it.
Mhm.
But it's called Reincarnation of the Trickster God. Oh, let me take a look at that.
Oh, nice.
Oh, it looks pretty cool.
Yep. So this is going to be the Izuku of the story. Image 1, I'm probably going to have it be like the background image as people are watching the story. Image 2 is, that's him getting ready to fight. Image 3 is basically when he's full serious mode. He takes off the jacket and opens a can of whoop ass on everybody. So yeah, so this is basically the end result after trading with Ryu from Street Fighter.
Really?
Doesn't that look like an Izuku that would be able to kick some ass?
It does. He looks like he's ready to kill anyone.
Exactly. So the story is going to start with, it's going to have the quirkless Deku turn into this behemoth. But yeah, so that's the overall story. And to your point, I'm already excited.
Yeah, it is. It does look really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta be honest. When it comes to stories, I don't really know what happens, but I just sometimes... I don't lose interest in stories. I feel demotivated most of the time, because I'm like, okay, I put all of this hours and time into this story.
Yeah.
230 views in a week.
Yep.
Yeah.
I totally hear you.
But I don't get mad about it. I just after a while I start to think, is it worth the effort?
It's more demoralizing, right?
Yeah.
You're expecting at least a decent amount of following for a story, only to realize that even less than half of the people you thought were going to show up bothered, Which, to me, I'm always grateful for the small amount of people that do give the story some time. But at the same time, it's like, wow, I thought the story was going to do a lot better.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people always do the emotionless Deku, and there are different takes on it. I did a teaser episode called Emotionless Eri that basically got no traction at all. Like it's an Eri that, it follows canon to a point, up until the point where Izuku died trying to rescue her.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So as you're watching the story, you see Eri just in the teaser. She's on the sofa looking at her phone, just scrolling through stuff, and she's got no interest in what's going on. Izuku comes into her room, knocks on the door, opens the door. He's like, "Hey, Eri, it's time for lunch." And she's like, "I'm not hungry. Come on, Eri, you got to eat something. Go away, Eri. What's wrong with you? You can always talk to me. Go the hell away. You're not even here."
Oh shit.
And when she turns around, her arm passes through him, and he's gone. It's her imagination. Izuku died trying to rescue her.
That's actually tragic as fuck.
Yeah, and because of his death being on her conscience, I didn't actually show it in the teaser, but I doubt anybody's gonna watch, so I might as well tell you. When she saw Izuku died, her quirk activated, when Izuku did the whole one for all, 100% with Eri on his back. That still happens, but because Izuku's already dead, she can't rewind his body to bring him back. Instead, she erases Overhaul from existence. And then, Aizawa's going to show up.
He deserves it, but that still sounds like a gruesome way to go.
Right? So, of course, Aizawa shows up, does his quirk canceling on Eri, and then because of the fact that she had a mental breakdown over the fact that somebody that she generally thought was going to save her died because of her, her emotions are turned off completely.
Yeah. That's kind of something similar to what I'm going for with the Across Time series. You've already seen one of the episodes. You already know what she's like.
Bro, I'm caught up. I'm waiting for the next one. Where is it?
Okay. The next episode's coming out. The problem I've had is that I have kind of been working my ass off lately. And so I've only been able to get maybe 1 or 2 episodes of a story out a week, and I've got 6 different stories to look at.
Same here, man. Same here. Oh,
But luckily, this week I'm pretty dead in terms of hours. Luckily, next week's Easter break, so I don't actually have to focus on schoolwork either.
Nice. Yeah, as for me, like I said, I want to make my stories, but because of my real life situation, I can never like devote the time the way I used to. You know, I'm lucky if I'm even able to make a story in a week.
You know what? You and I should do a collab sometime.
Oh, totally.
That way we can both work on it whenever the other one's not fucking dead.
Right. That's kind of what I've been doing with Kirishima and Kiyoshi, and I very much appreciate the both of them. They are amazing.
Yeah.
You know,
I've got one that I've been working on with Sloth, but we've been fucking struggling to make it work because like time has been a bitch.
Ain't it though?
Because like especially with time zones.
Mm-hmm.
Like you know what it's like. For me it's like 11 o'clock. For you it's probably the better half of 3.
It just became 7 p.m.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
What time do you wake up?
I woke up at 2:30 today.
You know what? I can't say much. I woke up at 4 literally yesterday. So.
Well, I am talking about 2:30 p.m. Not
I'm talking the same. I'm talking 4 p.m.
Okay. Yeah. Most days I wake up around 3 or 2:30, but like I said, with the grandma situation, she's got the day and nights mixed up, so somebody has to watch her at night. So it's kind of like.
Yeah, I get what you mean.
Yeah, you know.
But yeah, we should totally do a collab sometime.
Oh, totally. You know, I could. You know what? Normally, when I do collabs, I try to get 2 different Dekus that are either different or similar in some aspect, and make them fight because team up episode or whatever. But I kind of like the idea of writing like an entire AU from scratch and just us continuing off each other's ideas.
Yeah, so like back and forth episode thing.
Yeah, kind of like the ones that I do with Kiyoshi, or yeah, well, basically only Kiyoshi because me and Twisted, when we did our collab, I took my Yakuza Deku meeting his Godzilla Deku, and they kind of go on this multiverse travel trying to find was it Demon Godzilla or something?
No.
It's been a hot minute. But basically, his Godzilla Deku, he hates anything Yakuza related since he was experimented on Overhaul. Whereas my Yakuza Deku is literally the god of the world because he overtook everything with the Yakuza's powers.
Oh, so big fight scene imminent.
Oh, immediately. He goes full on Godzilla mode, like as big as the canon Godzilla, versus my guy who basically has the power of plot.
Yeah.
Literally. Because my Yakuza Deku, not sure if you read it or not. When I did tell you to read it, but here's a little bit of a spoiler. Yakuza Deku has the powers of all for one and one for all.
Oh, so he's basically just got everything.
Yeah, any power he wants, the plot demands. Yeah,
Yeah. Honestly, like I think, yeah, I've actually like established such like a fucking Bloodstone verse in my series at this point because like I was planning on basically making Spider-Man 2099 episode finale, basically another link into a channel verse. Unfortunately, because files got deleted because of bullshit, I unfortunately don't have the link in now. So I'm trying to figure out what to do. But I think that I've made such an extended universe in my series at this point because, like, I think I've had it to where Momo and Jiro were both originally characters from my What If MHA.
Mm-hmm.
And I've established, like, the Watcher was a character, Dr. Fate was a character in, like, my verse. There's all these different, like, things that are just connected. And then, like, I got the Council of Text Tubers that, like, seems to have a changed roster every time.
I know that feeling. I've seen a couple that do that. Honestly, that's kind of what I want to do going forward. I want to make a Deku verse, right? Where, God, have I actually? I haven't shown you the image, but it was in part of a story. Let me grab this real quickly so you can get a better interpretation. Why the hell did you show up? I can even click you. Here we go. And send this to you on Discord. There we go.
Oh.
So, in order, we're going to go front row, 1, 2, 3, then middle. So, in the first one, the guy with the finger to his lips, that's my Yakuza Deku, right?
Yeah.
The one directly next to him is Kiyoshi's Ben 10 Deku. The one after that, the one after that is Soul Reaper Deku, which I still have to make at some point.
Yeah.
It's basically Izuku with the powers of Ichigo. He's basically Ichigo, right?
Yeah.
As you can see, that man, I don't want to say his actual name, but that's the one from God Amongst Mortals.
Yeah, I know what that one is.
Yeah, the one in the middle is from my Godslayer Deku story. The one after that one is my Weapon Deku, basically Deku with the powers of Wolverine.
Yeah.
Right. Super Saiyan 4 Deku, that's from Toto's.
I used that one.
Rise of the Righteous Saiyans. The one directly next to that one, he's from my Vigilante Deku, right? Or should I say Vigilante Deku the next chapter, which was basically season 2.
Yeah.
And yes, he is quirkless, but I gave him something called Killer Instinct. And if you ever played Street Fighter and you know Akuma, basically replace what Akuma calls his ultimate power, replace that with Killer Instinct, and that's Deku.
Okay.
And as you can see at the very bottom, the last character, that is Twisted's Godzilla Deku. Now, here's how I want my Deku verse to go.
You know, if you want a character, you want one from mine.
Well, I'm going to say that for the channel verse. So what I'm doing is, this is called the Deku verse. Now, we've already seen a collab with some of them, not all, okay? I want to do a collab where each one of these Dekus meets a different creator's Deku, just to see how they power skill with each other. Because the reason why is these 9 are going to fight essentially Demon God Deku, which I have been teasing since like my very first story, right? Where he basically is a multiversal universal threat. He has the power of plot, and he can do whatever the hell he wants because yes, right? So these 9 try to fight him, and they lose. Like, they absolutely get demolished badly. Even a god and a god slayer can't touch him. So the only one that's going to be able to survive, I'm pretty sure it's just going to be Yakuza Deku or Weapon Deku, one of the two, because, you know, regenerative powers. They travel into the multiverse. So the Dekuverse ends up becoming a channelverse where they have to reach out to other creators' Dekus and bring them in to have any hope of stopping the demonic god.
That'd actually be pretty sick.
Yeah. And I think I have a screenshot or an image of Demon God Deku that I can send real quick.
Yeah.
And come on, I know you're on here somewhere. Nope, I do not have the screenshot, but I can just get it real quickly without wasting too much time. Demon God right here. Scroll back. Shouldn't be much longer. 1 second. Jeez, how many images did I save in this file? Oh,
Yeah.
Here we go. Here we go. This one. Copy. Bloodstone. Oh, wrong chat. There we go. Yep. So this is Demon God Deku.
Oh, that's fucking terrifying to look at.
Yeah.
That's actually kind of sick.
Yeah, and as I said, he basically has the power to do whatever he wants. Now, I actually have a Demon God Deku AU that's only like 2 episodes long, because I wanted to hype him up, but then once I actually started showing his powers, I immediately regretted it, because I was like, oh boy, how are they going to stop this guy? Because in the teaser, the teaser is a 20-minute episode, actually no, it's a 60-minute episode, where you find out that the multiverse has been throwing fighters at him to try and slow him down, and they have been doing nothing. He's brainwashed Yusuke, Kurama, and Hiei into being obedient servants to him that kill humans. He basically mind controls all the women of the multiverse into being his harem. Literally, whoever he's in the mood for, he has right at his picking. And just for laughs, what he does for entertainment is everybody's life expectancy has been increased by 500 years. If he takes away your power, you immediately start aging. You have to kill somebody to get your powers back so that you could stay alive.
Oh shit.
Yeah, imagine.
So he's like the
bat who laughs that type situation.
Basically, yeah. I made him insane. And at the end of the episode, I had Observer Deku be like, okay, this guy is a threat. We need somebody to buy some time.
Yeah.
Deadpool!
Oh, shit.
Yeah, so Deadpool literally just shows up out of nowhere in a bikini, and he jumps into a pool that is no longer there, and he face plants into the ground.
Yeah. I mean, that sounds so cool. I think the threats that I've done for my channelverse, I've always made them an original character. Because, like, the first threat I had for my first channelverse was all, like, based on the Batman Dark Metal thing. Yep. I had, like, 7 deadly different Dekus. There was, like, the Enforcer, the Deku Taro or something. Mm-hmm. And it was basically, each of them was a different version of Deku that had basically got turned evil from one way or another. Like, you had a Shigaraki, a mechanical one. You had one that was basically the disciple of Stain, etc., etc.
Right.
But then I had the second threat, which was the original writer, which is, he basically was established as, like, the guy who wrote Existence and gave free will to everyone. Before being plunged into darkness and wanting to fix his mistake, he decided, I'm going to undo everything I've done. Which basically had him seeking out all the different writers, basically you, me, Hades, etc., and killing them by destroying their stories.
Oh, jeez.
I got real meta with that one for some reason. And Brain Free actually helped me with that script.
Yeah, I could see that. You know, that's kind of what I want to do with mine, where he reaches out to the multiverse, other text tubers, and it's going to be this monumental battle that I need to talk to a couple other creators, but I kind of want him to secretly be the reason why other channel verses have even happened in the first place.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, you remember that one gigantic collab that TK did where multiple Dekus had to fight against one evil one, or the one that Kiyoshi did? Oh wait, no. Yeah, TK was the one with the Krangs. Remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of want it to be where, like, he's the reason why the seal was even broken in the first place, because he made a deal with the Krangs where, like, basically, here is the end goal for Demon God Deku. His goal isn't to subjugate the multiverse or even kill it. What he wants is, he wants to die. That's his end goal.
The only thing I have, like, established in the space of my, like, channel verses is that once a character gets removed from their timeline, they get an immense power boost, and I established it, like, with Power Stone Deku, with Mew, Umiko, and Doctor Who Deku. Each of them is significantly stronger when they return to their series. The only thing that's not known is that the fact that Power Stone Deku is returned. The reason Endgame MHA even exists is because of my second channel verse.
Okay.
Like that, and I actually had, like, a little nod to it because Deadpool breaks the fourth wall to talk to me, but it turns out Power Stone Deku also has that ability now because of the fact that he was part of the channel verse.
Right. I like that.
Yeah, it's pretty funny to think about, honestly.
I like that. You know, to circle back, remember how I said that he does have his own AU? Like I said, there's a teaser and an episode 1. Episode 1 is literally just Deadpool breaking the fourth wall the entire time. Like, he asks Demon God Deku, hey, what happened to those servants that you subjugated into bending to your will? And Demon God's like, what are you talking about? And he goes, oh, right, the creator changed the plotline because it was too convoluted, so now you're just the guy that's just batshit insane wanting to die.
That's actually kind of sick.
Yeah, and then he's just looking at Deadpool like, what the hell are you talking about? And why can't I kill you? I'm throwing you into a bad of acid. Why are you still alive? Yeah, the plot demands it. Excuse me. Yeah, and Deadpool goes, excuse me for just one moment. Deadpool leaves and shows up in episode 1 of Assassin Deku, where I killed Momo off before the story even began. If you watch episode 1 of Assassin Deku, I called Momo into a meeting room, take out a pistol and headshot her, killing her. Deadpool just randomly comes out of nowhere, grabs her by the ankle and just leaves with her. No explanation, refuses to elaborate, just grabs a dead body and leaves. Demon God Deku shows what he was doing and why he showed up. I was referencing a story within a story.
Jesus. Deadpool just has no chill.
He really doesn't, So then, speaking of no chill, here's what episode 1 of Demon God Deku is. Deadpool goes, wait a minute. I know what you want. You want to die, right? You want to fight somebody that's strong enough to kill you. That's what you want? Yes. I know just the perfect Earth. Opens a portal. He's like, there's somebody purple in this portal that has the power to kill you. I guarantee they'll be able to kill you. He shows up in the MCU.
He just brings him to Thanos.
Yep.
Unfortunately, I don't think that works that way. I don't think Thanos can actually snap him out of existence nor kill him.
He tried to, because the way the Infinity Gauntlet works, it only works in the universe that it comes from. So Demon God Deku went into the MCU universe. Thanos sees how powerful this guy is, and it's right as the way the video worked is that he shows up in a timeline where Iron Man wasn't able to get the stones, and so Thanos is about to do the second snap. Right? He snaps his fingers, but nobody vanishes. Demon God Deku uses his power to prevent anybody from being erased because he wants to know who's the purple person I'm looking for. He overrode the Infinity Gauntlet by sheer force of will. Right? So he shows up in front of Thanos and he's like, Purple, you're purple. Are you the one that I'm sent? Are you the one that I've been sent here to fight? And Thanos is just like, I sense immense power and danger coming from you. Oh, of course. Who are you? Right? And Thanos introduces himself, and Demon God Deku's like, yeah, I don't care. I'm here to fight. So Thanos tries to do the snap. He tries to use all the power of the snap on Demon God Deku, and Deku's body actually does start disintegrating for a couple of seconds. He's like, huh, interesting. But, and just like force of will, he wills himself back. He's like, now I know who you are. You're Thanos. You're that incredibly boring guy that keeps simping for a skeleton.
Oh, I'm not having this debate with you again.
Or are you the Thanos that is an eco-warrior that wants to wipe out half of the existence of the universe because you're an idiot? Yeah, I called him out at both times. So basically, he pulls an Eternity where he grows to the size of actual Eternity from Marvel Comics and is holding Thanos in the palm of his hands, basically calling him an insignificant speck of dirt in the grand scheme of things.
That is a good way to hype him up.
Yep, and then he immediately kills Thanos. The Avengers look at him and they're like, is he on our side or is he a villain?
So I'm going to actually end the stream because I want to tell you about the channel versus villain I'm planning to have, but I don't want the people to know about it just yet because this one's going to be a shocker.
No worries. All right. Well, for now,
hope you guys will enjoy the stream. Until next time, have a good one.
This is the end of episode 1, and we'll see you all for episode 2, sometimes when Bloodstone can get together.
Yeah, exactly.